Welcome to the Swolenormous PROCAST with your host, Papa Swolio.
I need some more coffee. Coffee. So you sent me this quote. I'll bring it up on the screen and then I shall read. You wanted to start with this quote today. I got a quote too. So you got the first one. This is from, you were talking about Seth Godin.
Yeah.
So situational gravity. All of us are good at rationalizing. It helps us process the world, navigate our choices, and live with ourselves. But gravity doesn't care if you got a lot of sleep last night or not. It's still the same amount of force. The pavement doesn't care if you always wear a helmet on your bike, except just this one time when you didn't, because you were having a video taken. Melanoma doesn't care that you always wear sunscreen, except that one day when you were really busy and couldn't go back to the house for it. Outside forces don't care about the situation because they have no awareness or memory. They simply are. Newton's law doesn't care that you were really distracted, and that's why you weren't wearing a seatbelt. And the virus that infected your friend doesn't care about why that person in the office decided not to wear a mask either. People are very good at stories. That's our core technology. Everything else in the world, though, has no interest in them. That last little mini graph right there.
Yep.
People are very good at stories. We always talk about storytelling. That's our core technology.
Yep.
And it is core technology. People used to sit around a campfire and talk. That was the social media back in the day. As smoke signals, just communication. How do you tell stories? You tell it with words, with pictures, with, miming stuff. Everything else in the world has no interest in stories. In other words, facts over feelings. So it's almost like humans, we're communicating in a different, and this is where social media has completely gone off the reservation and is conflicting with the fundamental aspects of human nature.
Yeah.
So now we are dealing with emotion all the time with real life situations that we're completely disconnected, because now we have such a wide array of however you want to tell a story, bro. You want to write a blog, you want to do audio, you want to do long form audio, you want to do short form audio, do you want to go on TikTok? You can use any app, FaceTime, Instagram stories, Reels, Snapchat, Triller, whatever the heck, Holliness, whatever comes out next, and you can tell your story, but the facts, they don't change.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great quote, man.
Yes, sir. And I believe it plays a lot into how we execute on, first of all, execute for ourselves story-wise, should we choose to tell stories, versus, doing and creating because of a platform or because of a channel. So I think it just fortifies and puts the nail in the coffin of, sort of the mid to end of our conversation about you need to be doing it for you, identifying your truth. Because at the end of the day, first of all, stories don't matter to anything outside of people who can interpret stories or technology that can interpret stories. But secondly, it's like the social channel is the social channel. You are you. And it's like, if you can't activate the behavior, it doesn't matter what comes out. It doesn't matter what drops. It doesn't matter if you get better at storytelling, if you have more exciting things to talk about, it doesn't matter if you can't activate the behavior and the consistency of doing a thing, because everything else is just frills.
I just keep thinking about how on the podcast last night, I was talking about, and even in Red, White, and Swole on the new channel, I was looking at, and I always say that there's these two societies. There's this virtual world laid over, I picture it kind of like cellophane or saran wrap just over a casserole or something, left over from Thanksgiving, or leftovers. You got a little saran wrap around it, and you have this social media thing that's just everyone is connected. And I know that's so cliche, and yeah, obviously everyone's connected. Social media. But it's true. You never had the ability to talk to anyone except literally, I have to go in the next room and talk to someone, or walk and find someone, or use my voice. You don't even have to talk anymore, man. You don't have to order. You don't have to walk to get food. You don't have to do anything but move your thumbs to say things to people. You don't have to raise your voice. don't have to do anything. You don't even have to use your ears. You can just watch the closed captions on all the videos automatically. You can just watch the script. It's so crazy, man.
Yeah.
Everyone, and I say everyone except, but how many just cell phones, just that connectability, things are so cheap now. Even if you have an older cell phone, we don't even talk about iPhone 6. I have it over here. The iPhone, dude, this phone was what, like $1,000 something, the iPhone 6S Plus.
Yep.
And every time
I think that was the generation that was out when we met, right?
This is the one right before, I think the 7. I never got the 7 or the 8. This is a button. This is a button. This is the first. This is the first one. This was the phone that I upgraded to when I was starting Swolenormous. This was the purchase that I made. I met some dude in a gas station parking lot, bought this for 500 cash, and it was a fucking deal. He was one of those guys that had not a scratch, probably not even a piece of dust aside from some nitrogen or oxygen touch the phone. And I remember buying it. Wow, it was great. Now I have trouble turning it on because there's a button there. I'm like, oh, weird. You gotta touch that button, and then I got the Galaxy S6 right over here.
Trusty DWG camera.
Dude, I've been getting logged out of everything still. So I got logged out of, what was it, YouTube or Amazon? Something logged me out. And then it said, send me a code. Dude, it said, I'm so glad. Check it. I know it was Google. I don't know if it was Gmail. It was something Google that Google owned. Maybe it was YouTube. And it said, we sent a code to your Samsung Galaxy S6. I'm thinking, you are so lucky I have this thing. Ironically, right here, because that's my DWG camera. Just ironically, I opened it up and then I had to hit a button because it gave me a code, like a number 27. So I hit the 27 there and then it unlocked. What if I didn't have this phone? I wouldn't be getting into this. I wouldn't be getting into whatever the app was. I've been logged out of everything. Amazon, everything. Something's going on. Even I didn't change any of my settings. So I don't know what's going on, but I'm still having lockout problems.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I'm seeing a lot more of just like people publishing posts on literally TikTok, Instagram, everywhere about how not only are they seeing stuff like that happen, but stuff like that is happening on social platforms too, where like unbeknownst things just like randomly, like this one I was watching yesterday, this girl said she logged into TikTok and everything was changed. But then also she was like, hey, she like said something in the video like, hey, are you guys having a hard time like seeing my content or whatever? And the first comment was like, TikTok made me unfollow you 2 or 3 times in a row. And I had to like refollow you. And like 1,000 or 2,000 people liked that comment. Everybody said same. And it's just crazy because I'm looking at all around like, all my theming is going away. I'm being locked out of stuff. Like social platforms are acting weird. I mean, analytics are just dropping and whatever. I'm just like, something's going on, and it's not necessarily like something's going on to like, oh, we got to figure it out. It's like, clearly you can see a pattern of, something's not working in the back end or something's not adding up for all these settings just to be vulnerable like this,
I feel like they're trying to either update something or they are going through some type of security threat or whatnot. I did a Red, White, and Swole last night about TikTok taking legal action against Trump. I don't know if that's actually because of the ban.
Yeah, I heard that.
I don't know if that's just one of those standard things. Oh, you're going to ban us, so we start a lawsuit. It might be the default.
That just happened with Fortnite and Apple too.
Well, that's right, because Apple Fortnite created their own pay. They created their own like gateway.
Yeah.
Aside from the App Store, so they circumvented it. They knew it was going to happen. They knew exactly what they were doing. They wanted to take a stand. I think that's kind of shitty that they put their audience in the middle of that. They were leveraging the audience, and I think it's almost very egotistical. Like, people love Fortnite so much, we're going to do this. They feel like they have the power of the people.
Right.
People are fickle. You're going to they can turn on you real fast. You want Apex Legends or whatever the next other game is, or people will ditch Fortnite for something else that'll come out.
Yeah.
Instagram's proven that, or Facebook. They'll just create another part of an app, or a game will just, flip a switch. But I don't know if they're gonna win. But when you think about digitally, there really is a monopoly that no one really talks about.
Yeah.
It's Google Play. If you have an Apple phone, you can only use the App Store. Isn't that a monopoly? Isn't that illegal technically?
Right.
But it's their product, so it's not it's such a
At what it's
it's a
almost at
monopoly
like
no one knew about.
yeah, it's almost like at what point or what threshold does it become that, you know? It's like, is it a certain amount? Is it a certain like, you know, it wasn't a problem until everybody had an iPhone, like, but you can only do certain things with an iPhone, or you can, you know, and the world are completely separate. I have maybe one or two people I'm connected with total out of my entire contact list that have Android phones, because it's always obviously the green bubble stuff. It's like what they experience technologically, because they also work in media and all that kind of stuff too. It's just a completely different world, from anything from music production to social media to, you know, media production and distribution, whatever. It's just like, it's literally like two completely separate worlds of how it's used, the accounts you use to log into your hardware and software. It's just like, you know, it's pretty crazy. And the deeper it gets, it's like, and the bigger these companies become, they're naturally going to spread. Amazon's going to get into more space. I mean, they literally just, you know, rebranded, what was it, Twitch to like Prime Gaming, you know, and all that kind of stuff. Like, everybody's just going to go
Change the
deeper.
name?
Yeah, they changed Twitch Premium or Twitch whatever, Twitch Pro to
Oh,
Pro.
they're combining it. They're branding it now.
Yeah, to make it align with like Prime Music, Prime Gaming, Prime, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's
So
because
what?
no one knows that Amazon owns it.
Right.
Most people don't. Most people don't know that Amazon owns it.
But that's how all these people silently do it. It's like you get better at, you know, acquiring customers, acquiring attention, you know, distribution of, you know, hardware, of digital products or whatever. And then eventually when you like, you know, quote unquote, have the people's respect or have the people's attention, like you said, you can do a lot with it. But I do think there's certain parameters around that, like you said, with like the Fortnite and the Instagram thing. It's like you can't force people to, you know, care about your, you know, back end or, you know, behind the curtain stuff, because at the end of the day, when they wake up on a Saturday or Sunday or, you know, even a Thursday, Friday evening, and they just want to play something or they want to watch something or consume something, people, like you said, people are fickle. They'll go to where they can give their attention and experience their entertainment and escapism and all that kind of stuff, because we are, whether we like it or not, we are a gluttonous by nature type of human race. We just want to consume more.
It's so crazy when you have so many different apps to use. It used to be Netflix, and now I buy movies on Prime, and then I have Hulu for some reason, and you realize I'm paying like $60 a month, I'm 100, whatever it is, and you just add up app after app after app. And
isn't that interesting? It's like
they've all subtly niched. Here's the thing. It's very much Coke, Pepsi, where
right.
they make money if they have machines next to each other.
Right.
That's why there's always machines next to each other. That's why when you go to a four corner stop, you have a McDonald's, a Wendy's, a Burger King, a Taco Bell, because they all make money, because it's a issue of choice.
Right.
Rather than, okay, do I want McDonald's? No. Do I want McDonald's or Burger King? Burger King.
Right.
So Burger King makes money, as opposed to just Burger King. No, I don't feel like fast food. I'm not hungry. You give people a choice, and then it's right, this or this, rather than yes or no.
Yep.
So then you don't have every movie or every show on each one. So here's the interesting thing is they actually are probably always going to be like that, because if you have one that has everything,
right,
it's a monopoly, or you're either going to use it or you're not. They all benefit. Netflix will, and probably in some way, I don't know if this makes sense. I guess the analytics would have to, who knows what those are, but Netflix will benefit by having certain things that Hulu doesn't, and Hulu will benefit that the fact that Netflix has things that they don't, and Amazon Prime will have the benefit of being able to, you know, purchase individual things, because you can buy an episode a la carte. So Netflix might have the whole series, but if you want episode 4, you can pay $2.99 and buy that one.
Yep.
So they have a lot of a la carte. Plus, you could buy whole seasons. Like I bought Vikings on there because it wasn't on different platforms yet, or I bought a season of something, you know. And
nice, yeah.
You know, and plus when you just tap a couple buttons. But my point we're talking about Amazon was, I just got this option for my podcast, Amazon Music /Audible. So now you're gonna be able to listen to music on your Kindle. So now I can submit my podcast. So now my Amazon Music will have my podcast and Audible and stuff. So I just thought it was whether or not people aren't going to be, oh, I'm going on Audible to listen to your, but it just shows their actions behind the scene that now they're getting into the podcast game.
Yep. And they'll figure out a way to crush it.
They're doing comedy specials too. So,
ooh,
I mean, they're doing,
right.
So now it's not just Netflix with a stand-up. Now it's Netflix or Prime is doing a lot of things like that, because they're putting out a lot of money for their own exclusive shows and stuff too.
Yeah, that's so interesting to me. Prime is actually, or not Prime, Amazon is my lowest marketplace by streams, but I still get, I mean, I get a little kick of streaming money off of that. Like, I just did it real small, like $5-10 a month or whatever for the, people who listen over on that platform. But it's so interesting. Man, the last thing you just said about your podcast being distributed at Amazon, I was going to mention something about that. Actually, I don't remember, but you can keep flowing on that. Lost my train of thought there.
Was I saying on Audible?
Yeah, you're saying something about Audible and being on your Kindle.
Not that people are going to listen to them.
Oh, you're saying Amazon's now doing comedy specials and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, they're getting in the game of they're a player. Well, they have their own shows too. I think that I don't know if it came out yet, but there was a huge thing about them creating this Lord of the Rings show. They're going to do a whole series on the lore, like the previous, because it's very much J.R.R. Tolkien wrote biblical. He wrote all the history of Lord of the Rings well before the Third Age and everything. So there's books and Bibles, the Silmarillion. There's tons and tons of content. So they were doing a TV show, I think, that came before all that.
Yeah.
Like Sauron, like the days, the lore of Lord of the Rings, and I think that was a Prime show.
Yeah.
So they were dumping a lot of money. I mean, who knows what's going on now with the vid, if who's making what, who's filming what. I guess only the biggest studios that can afford to have separate hotels and have all the tests ready and have all the things. Only the biggest operations can probably pull this shit off. Yeah. Everyone else is stuck in their house trying to start a podcast.
And even in the middle ground is really cutting out small and mid-sized, production companies. And so you're kind of forced to either partner with some of these big guys to continue to be relevant within the industry, as they continue to expand their domain. And it's going to be, I think we're just going to see an acceleration because of all this, because you get a ton of people who have the capabilities to continue to create original content and cut out the middlemen. Amazon's doing it, Hulu's doing it, ESPN Plus is doing it, Disney's doing it. Like everybody's legitimately doing it right now. And then you got, like you said, you mentioned like Quibi and these random ones that are popping up. And it's like, if you go directly to the actor, go directly to the
going
source.
On Quibi, bro?
They got some. I'm not gonna check it out until it's like undeniable.
Is
like
that an Apple thing? Is that Apple? Because I don't even know where I've seen it. I don't even know where I've seen it. I know of it, but I can't imagine. I forget where I saw the ad. Yeah. But I saw it was 10-minute TV shows or something.
Yeah, like quicker. Yeah, something like that. And it's just like,
I
only know it by the faces they're showing. So literally it's like all this stuff that we learned and, consumed and right.
Like, the name sucks.
What are these names? Like, what is it with tech companies? I've always thought it was so interesting. What is it with tech companies in creating like, finding these just like random words and then just giving them like a pop color with inverse logo. And all of a sudden it's like modern and techie.
Like
Quibi, get out of here.
Hey, get out of here with that noise. There we go. It was a little bit too. There we go. My lighting better.
If it was a social platform. If it was a social, hey, did you post on Quib? Did you Quib up today?
Did you see my Quib today?
Yeah.
You quibbed? Oh yeah, I quibbed you.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't get my Quib? It actually kind of sounds like, TikTok was, remember at the beginning when they bought Musical.ly?
It was a little, yeah.
It was TikTok, and now it's huge. Once it gets big, you don't notice it anymore.
Right. It was kind of weird at first. It was like,
it was
did
weird.
you post a tick? Did you post did you post on TikTok?
Who's buying that? Do you know what's going on with that?
I actually don't know any updates. Honestly, I know that at first it was only Microsoft, but then you heard, Apple's considering it and Disney's considering it. And I was just like,
Trump issued a new order to force TikTok. That's 18 hours ago. TikTok US sale gives Trump more legal stranglehold on ByteDance. How the forced sale of TikTok could splinter the internet. Oh, The Verge.
Yeah.
Oh, splinter the really?
They're so good at that.
The sale of TikTok is going to splinter. Trump says he supports Oracle owning TikTok. Oh, Larry. Oracle. What does Oracle do? They just do analytics, like analytics, or
it's like to my understanding, Oracle has like marketing and sales suites for Fortune 500 companies and technology. And there's so many different places. But what's interesting about that is that like that's taking something very archaic and making it. That's a weird play, but it's an interesting one. I'm not sure that I agree with going in that direction. I think it would kill the platform.
Holy crap.
Unless there's legitimately like technology and software in the back end, and that's one of the value propositions of being able to handle stuff that they wouldn't be able to handle, you know.
It says, I just clicked on, oh God, dude, you click on a website now, you better
70
be
pop-ups.
no, you gotta be careful. I just clicked on the article and you gotta check this. Hold on. You gotta check this out. Let's see if we can. So ByteDance valuation under huge pressure as it reached an estimated valuation of 100 billion this year, bro.
Bro, come
Dude,
on.
you see that shit? 100.
Come on. Y'all are making
Dude.
up numbers at this time. What wasn't Instagram bought for 2 billion?
I'm
pretty sure Instagram was bought for 2 billion by Facebook. So look.
It was 1 to 4. I think they offered Snapchat 8 and they turned it down.
Yeah, but think about even that, the exponential growth of valuation like that. Like, dude, 8 years ago,
$100 billion.
Jesus, bro.
Really? How do you you're making that up? Wait, now the company's price tag is under tremendous pressure as it's set to shed its prized asset TikTok. No, they don't. Why are they just? That's not even true. They're cutting off the U.S. portion. They're not getting rid of TikTok.
Yeah,
they're going to sell the whole app. Give me a break.
And TikTok's been really smart, in my opinion, because they've been making a lot of behind the scenes moves. I just made a video about TikTok and their partnership with United Masters, because you and I talked about that in the PROCAST. I think it was literally episode 1 of the PROCAST where we said one of the 17.2. Can you imagine?
Last year,
FU money,
17.2 billion in revenue.
Yeah.
Wait, let me look at this. They projected at 28.7 billion this year. And just think they're being successful with it makes you wonder if the virus was on purpose. Dude, what a play, right? What a play. You have the growth of TikTok exploding in late 2019, which is pretty much Chinese spyware.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden in December, oopsies, right when it's 3 months in from when I started, September 1st, right? Charlie started in July. So that was right when it was igniting. And then you have a pandemic, everyone's locked inside doing what? TikToking. The pandemic ramped up TikTok's growth like crazy.
Yep.
Because no one had anything else to do.
Yep.
Let's see. It went from having a potential overseas market 6 billion users to just China. Let's see. Has only begun to monetize. What's left? Bro. $17 billion. But check this out. This is what I wanted to share earlier. So this is a quote from, because we were talking last episode about the 48 laws of power, right? So check out this. So that Seth Godin quote was great. Check out this one. This is Law 32, playing to people's fantasies. This is literally the outline. This just speaks exactly to what I do, and you're going to see this. It's like a slap in the face. Judgment. Okay. The truth is often avoided because it is ugly and unpleasant. Never appeal to truth and reality unless you are prepared for the anger that comes from disenchantment. Life is so harsh and distressing that people who can manufacture romance or conjure up fantasy are like oases in the desert. Everyone flocks to them. There is great power in tapping into the fantasies of the masses.
Yep.
That is.
I could go off in 17 different directions on that, because that just lights a fire.
Look, the truth. My favorite quote. The truth is like poetry, and most people fucking hate poetry.
Right.
It's textbook. People, they don't want to think about reality, and I can't blame them when your reality sucks. Which is why, if you're working on yourself, it makes reality tolerable, because reality is always going to be harsh. There's going to be storms. There's going to be aliens. There's going to be famines. There's going to be pandemics. There's always going to be a problem. There's going to be someone in the family dies. There's going to be, I don't know. There's always going to be something. When's it going to be excellent? Always. There's always going to be that dip, right? There's always going to be that shit that happens. Life is rough. It can be really great, but it could also be fucking rough.
Yep.
We both know that.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people that know it a lot more than us. So, and they're knowing it right now. So I don't know. It's crazy. But when you start talking truth, when I'm making all the content about fat acceptance and health and just general things like that,
Right.
even when you see with what's going on in the world politically, socially, people don't want to think about the actual truth of it. They just want to live in their little land of make believe storytelling, social media, go in the virtual world, Ready Player One. Dude, I remember when I saw that because you were getting me to,
Yeah. We were
dude,
gonna have
how,
done that.
bro, God, when you watch a movie, that movie hit really close to home. I saw that. And I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, it's so far in the future. No,
Mm,
that's legit. That's
yeah.
literally what it is now.
1.0, 2.0 versions of that already exist,
It's
like,
what it is now. It just doesn't look the same. It's the same thing with
right.
just it's like having a Model T car,
And also too, I mean, that's
slow
almost
car.
meta in a way, based off of what you just read, the excerpt from 48 is essentially you could use the same thing to over fantasize what something should be, right? So let's talk about like virtual reality just in general. Ready Player One, and I'm not saying necessarily because Spielberg wrote that movie, right? He's the writer, the producer.
He directed it, but someone else. It's a book that someone wrote.
Oh, gotcha. But if they visually and environmentally and atmospherically like present that in a way that's like over fantasized or tapping into the fantasies of how it would be if we lived in a virtual reality, then it's like it almost pulls the collective mind like expectation of what something should be, right?
Mhm.
So like, and it almost distracts people from realizing that you kind of already live it, you kind of already behave it, you kind of already upload your consciousness into the internet, you kind of already are a cyborg, you kind of already are in gamification, not only in your career but also in your content creation, also in your relationships, also in your status, also like people don't realize that just because it doesn't look like, just like you said, just because it doesn't look like that does not mean we don't already live a version of that, you know what I'm saying? And it's like because they were good at tapping into the fantasy of what that would be, you know.
That reminded me of.
Because it wasn't the best part when you find out that his friend that he's been virtually friends with the whole time was not like
It was a
what he
girl, right?
yeah.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Yep. Oh yeah, spoiler alert.
Oops. Well, it's been out for a
I
while.
was just gonna say it's been out, it's
If you haven't
literally,
seen that, if you haven't seen that fucking movie,
if you haven't seen it you just don't like that type of movie.
but it was, yeah, it was entertaining and kind of cheesy enough in a way, but it was too realistic for me. I know it
Yeah.
seemed so futuristic, but not really.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think networked gaming is and
Right.
playing Call of Duty and Fortnite? You're
Yep.
just not literally in that. You are if you put on one of those Oculus or one of those
Yep.
HTC Vive. Like you're it's getting more real all the time. In 10 years, it's going to
Yeah.
look really real, and you get the haptic feedback. You're going to put that suit on, and you're going to have different suits, right? You're going to have all these different championships. They had this 30 years ago with the Nintendo championships when I was little and Nintendo was popping off because of
Yeah.
that movie, The Wizard, with
Right.
Fred Savage. You had the kid and you had the Super Mario. I actually competed.
Right.
I competed. I was knocked out instantly, but it was in New York City. And there was, because of that movie, there was a 19, I forget what it was, 1988 or 89. Maybe it was 90, but it was the Nintendo championships. And it was in this big convention center and they just had thousands of arcade like set up. They're all standardized games where you
Yeah.
had 3 levels of different things. You had to boom, 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 and then the top people would go to the next stage until you had 2 people on a stage competing or whatnot.
Right.
So it was one game where I lost like right away. I wasn't that good. It was an experience, but I remember seeing all the people gaming in one big convention center.
Yeah.
So I mean, they had this stuff then, but now we're actually able to go into that world. But
And I think when it's really going to exponentially grow is when you start having worlds inside of worlds. So no longer when you're just logging in to play one game, when you're logging it, I don't know the full background of who Oculus is and companies like that. But let's say you log into Oculus that, hypothetically, but
well,
inside of the Oculus world.
Facebook owns Oculus. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you log into the
they-
world and then there's games inside of the world. So imagine logging into Oculus, but then you play Call of Duty in the Oculus world. So when you come out of Call of Duty, you're still in Oculus.
Well, remember they had, I don't know if they kept in that. Remember they had the Facebook virtual world. Remember that they did that for a little bit.
Yeah, they did like a whole announcement about that and made it a big deal and haven't heard anything about it since.
No, they probably just it probably just sucked to the people that they were, the 10,000 people they released it to. But you had a little avatar and you went to this virtual world. The technology has to catch up before people are really immersed in it, because it's not going to pop off until you make it affordable. Even the iPhone, wow, the iPhone, the reason that popped off was because it was affordable relatively for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It could get mainstream. I mean, it's
Yep.
cool to have something, you know, there's the Oculus that we get, there's the HTC that you can buy consumer, you
Yep.
know, there's VR or something where, like, where you go to these buildings where they have it all set up for VR and they have
Yep.
the extra and they have the special, you know, there's $20,000 systems that you can purchase,
100%.
but there's how
If
many
somebody has a
how many,
cadence to what they're releasing to you, that's because there's something bigger or better behind the scenes. That's why they're able to do incremental releases, because it's coming from somewhere.
yeah, it's
You
like
know?
it's like having government. Obviously, the technology that you see, you think,
Yeah.
okay, whatever you see in, like, it's not a prototype. The things that are 20 years out, you can imagine what they have and what they've been working on.
Right.
But once, yeah, the technology is not there to the point, and whenever the economy, it's tanking,
Yeah.
that it's harder for people to purchase these things. What are your thoughts on that? Because we are going into, it's August, it's the end. I can't
Bro.
believe where'd August go, bro? Where'd August go? It's August 23rd. So we're almost at the end of August, September, October. Bro, this is fuck your resolution season.
Yep.
October 1st is that 90 days to the
Bro,
end where
you
I
were
start.
here almost a year ago. That's insane.
That was December, mid-December. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's
Jeez.
yeah, and it's crazy when how much happens, or how much at least happened in this past year, because I think about a year ago today in August, it was July. July when it was like July or just before, when I had just upgraded the cameras and stuff for the streaming and just got my monitors and just, you know, upgraded a bunch of things.
Right.
It's like I feel like I've been doing this for a long time, but no way, dude. It's like, no way. That was a year ago.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Speaking of like time being weird like that, I was scrolling through your YouTube relateds after I watched one of your videos. I forget which one I watched. It was like an hour before we started this cast. And so I just kept scrolling because it kept going like further and further and further back into your like feed and all the different type of videos. I saw the Brittany Dawn stuff. I saw like, I'm like, even just the Brittany Dawn, that was only 3 months ago, and it feels like it was light years ago.
What was 3
Like
months ago?
there was like a whole group, there's like a whole second wave of like Brittany Dawn videos that you did that were only 3 months ago. And then like I was looking at the like all the different characters, and so I was like watching like what it like the little timestamp, but it's like 3 months ago, 4 months ago. But when you and I talk, we talk about those things as if they were like a year and a half ago.
Oh,
Or like,
I see what you're saying.
yeah,
Right.
so it's so weird. Like time, like when you're doing all of the time, it just like what other people would be like, oh yeah, like I just popped on Swole, 90 days ago. It's been exciting. And for them, they've maybe had 6 touch points with your brand since then. For you, you've had 18 touch points a day every, you know what I'm saying? So like for you, your conception of like time around even your brand's infrastructure, it's a weird relationship, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I think it's the same thing with like these releases and like the time and what's actually available versus what like available at masses to consumers. It's like there's strategy there, there's presentation there.
Yeah, and it's interesting what you said. It's definitely a long time, because the week to week goes super fast for me. It goes super fast. So we do new releases every Monday. We still have the accountability meetings every Monday at 12. But I mean, it's Sunday. That's tomorrow. No joke. I know it's a week ago. I just did an accountability meeting.
Yep.
I don't even know what happened, because so much stuff happened this week. two brand new channels. We're doing PROCAST and stuff. But week to week, there's so much that happens, and it feels like it goes fast. But looking back to those Brittany Dawn videos, or looking back, I look back at a video style, and I know from that video, I look at the way it's shot, I look at the angle. I have to do that. I caught myself doing it last night when I was listening to old podcasts, because every time I upload a podcast, I'm always listening, even now. And it just proves to me that how much I care. And this from a producing standpoint, that every single time, no joke, last night when I'm walking the dog, I listen to my own podcast when I post it. I still listen. Every time I post it, I hit play and I'm listening to the audio. I'm thinking, oh, I need to change this or bring this down. Why does it sound muffled? Maybe I boosted it too much. Every single time, And it's not neurotic, it's just caring about your craft. And I'm like thinking,
100%.
I'm thinking, fuck, it sounds like crap. But my ear is so much more tuned because at the beginning it was all about, oh, my audio needs, or my video is better. I need a better camera, this. And then all of a sudden, once I started getting into audio, I realized, oh, audio is the thing. Audio is so much more challenging. Audio needs a lot of X, Y, and Z. So then I got into the audio game a lot more. And I went back and I just scrolled like a couple hundred episodes or 500 episodes back.
Yeah.
I can't believe I can.
Yeah.
And I
I was
listened,
just saying, so many people couldn't even just do that.
but it gave me
Like, what-
perspective. I realized,
Yeah.
oh, wow, it's a lot better than it was. I thought it was a lot better then. I thought I was doing it worse now, but I heard so much more echo. I'm thinking, what's wrong with you, dude?
Yeah.
So even when I thought it's like an older relationship or something, or just something that happened in the past, you forget because you're not in that moment. But it's great to look back at previous content because you realize how far you've come as a person, because you look into your own eyes and you remember when you made that content, where you were, what you were doing, what you were working on. Just like the Swole motions, or when we talk, we look at old footage. Oh my God, dude, remember when you were talking about Swolenormous X and starting X? Like, hey, we just launched Swolenormous X and the message isn't really clear. I didn't really know exactly where all the aspects of X was going to go. It was the 90-day dash and it was something else. Cool.
Yep.
But that's why now that's why we're having so much fun, because like what we both have done is built that structure.
Yeah.
We both know where we're posting. We know what we want to do, what the future holds for me. I don't have a whole 10-year plan. Well, I'm going to be here doing this. I kind of like that. I don't know what's going to happen. If you told me this 4 years ago, it wouldn't have made sense. So, but I know every single section in X. I know what I'm posting where. I know what channel I'm posting this. I know I love doing the PROCAST. So we were just talking about this before we went, before we started recording, that I'm doing what I want to do now. I'm making sure that I'm not doing content that I don't like. If I don't like it, I'm not doing it. I'm not spending a lot of time on apps just because they're popular. If I don't like doing something, I'm going to automate it or distance myself. Like, I'm really enjoying doing content that I enjoy, which sounds weird, but I'm going back to more rough style filming. I'm editing stuff, or I'm managing stuff less. I'm doing content where I'm busting out content. I'm being me. And I love the fact that as much as I know more about filming, I have more equipment than I can ever use. I have stuff I never use. I'm just like, I bought things and I don't use that. I have more cameras than I need, more audio and microphones than I need.
Yeah.
And now I'm just filming more casually and more. No, I feel like the thing is going the other direction, making it more casual, making it more production.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to level up. I think people level up in the wrong mindset. People try to level up with tech, and yeah, that's cool. But unless your thing is cinematic video, and that's your I don't know, forget the names, like the Parker Wahlbecker, right? He's a film photo
that's
guy.
real. Yeah. Is he the dude that does the film school?
I think I've seen his videos sometimes for lighting and stuff. Or Peter McKinnon. Like, unless your brand is super high quality film, like those guys will talk about 8K red cameras, and you want to really know about film and color grading and all that, you can, like, they'll rock your world, right? They have their brand and their stuff and their style. But if that's not you, if technology has not proven anything, the fact that everyone's got a phone and everyone's a creator and everyone knows what it looks like behind the scenes, I don't know. There's two ways. It goes. It goes the direction of higher quality stuff on TikTok, where, oh, you have to stand out. You have to use a Mark, a 5D Mark IV or something like that to film a fucking TikTok, and it's over edited. Or you just rep stuff out and be yourself. And I feel like just being yourself, but extra yourself, just doing so much of being you have your security, you have your shit locked down. That's why I'm just being aggressively myself, which I've always been, but that's why the new channels, that's why we're doing the PROCAST. Like, I love doing this. So that means that this is something I need to do, because we are going to do, hundreds of these. We're just going to do these endlessly. Like, there's no need to stop doing these podcasts. We'll probably have multiple podcasts, we'll probably just do like all sorts of things. But we both love doing this and talking about this shit. So it's just a win-win, and to create content from it. I just think a lot of people will have a lot more answers. They won't be depressed. They won't be anxious. I did a Red, White, and Swole yesterday about how Gen Z, how the mental health is just in the dumps. People are just mentally fucked. It's like, because these kids are coddled. They're grown up they grew up with this social media weird fucking shit that no regulation, Wild West. They've all been backstabbing each other. Like, they're just fried. People don't have any interest. Their interests have always been trends. Their interests have always been whatever to get likes. So they don't have their own identity. They grew up with the identity of the masses. That's why you have mass riots and stuff, because people aren't individuals. You work on yourself, man. Like when you work on yourself, you figure out who you are and what you want to do. I work on myself. Oh, this is how I like my day. This is the content that I like. Then do that.
Yeah.
But people don't have their own identities.
Yeah, it's very fractional. It's very segmented. And you said something earlier when you were talking about how your old audios were like real echoey. And it's like back then you thought that it was like good based off of what was, 3, 4, 5 months before even that or whatever. And it's like, that's one thing I've always, had a lot of respect about our relationship, is that the focus on craft isn't just increasing the quality of a thing. And I had posted on Instagram the other day that the ones most vulnerable are the ones who think they have it figured out. Be a student of your craft and be a student of life. And that's one of the things that I think you and I just have fun with, is because, sometimes first of all, in order to be a student of your craft, you have to know what your craft is, which is knowing what you love, the type of content you like to create and post and all that kind of stuff. So awareness, discovering that or whatever. But sometimes it's like, it's like a contradiction almost, or like what's it called, oxymoron, where it's like you're honing your craft by actually making parts of it lower quality, because that puts you back into your center, which actually makes you a better communicator because it's more natural. There aren't barriers to entry when it comes to creating the things you love. So literally you were able to have the self-awareness around your craft and then execute against the craft. So that way you are a lot more accurate and staying in that zone and not being vulnerable because you're a student of it, versus being like, oh, I got this figured out. I got this camera, this piece of equipment, that over there, whatever. So therefore every single time it's going to look exactly like this. It's like, no, you're constantly shifting the relationship between what you love and then how it's presented, and then what you love and then how it's presented.
I think
that's what, bro, like,
I get bored.
It's boring to be a standard and follow trends and be better than other people doing the same crap.
But some people do all different types of videos. They have no coherence. Some people, like, the more equipment, the more stuff, the more I learn, the easier I make it for me to film, and the less variety of filming that I do.
Right.
In the sense of having to make every different thing film differently. But I like to change up the camera angle. I like to talk about different subjects. But that's why, even though a lot of people are going to think, well, why do you have 5 or 6 YouTube channels? Spreading out the type of content that I do and distributing it protects me from the algorithm. It protects me from the audience that maybe likes specific content, because if you're subscribed, for example, the Red, White, and Swole was on the Daily Swole channel, but then created the Papa Swolio channel. So a lot of people don't want to hear about my thoughts on Biden's acceptance speech. Even if it's a couple minutes, a lot of people don't want to watch the Daily Swole for that. So they want to watch it they like the extra thirsty, and it has the podcast. And that's going to be where that is. I might leave Ask Papa Swolio there. I might be moving it to the Papa Swolio channel.
Right.
Or dropping it or doing something. I might just leave it on that channel. That way, because of the Sunday live stream, like today is Ask Papa Swolio Live. Anyway. Nice. But
that was a beautiful thought you had there on the spreading, though, like, because you said 2 things. You said separation by audience and interest, and also protection from essentially, being attacked by not having reach, But.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, the reach, and that's a thing, because part of me, because these episodes that I was doing at the Red, White, and Swole was still getting 1,000, 2,000, whatever views on that channel. So part of me is excited for, hey, I'm going to post and I'll have 15 subs.
Right.
So I don't know what's going to happen, but at the same time, it's my creative freedom to literally talk about whatever I want to talk about. Philosophy, maybe a quote. I could just bring up a picture and talk for 10 minutes.
Yep.
It could be anything. It gives me that platform to do it and do it there. And I think there's two ways to think about it. When to start a second channel, when you have the first one that really pops. I think the way things are now, you need to niche your audiences, because it's respectful to people that follow a channel for a specific reason in some cases. But for me, I just see so many people that just don't brand their content at all. They don't have any flow. Every time I do a video, if I'm going to film a video in a certain way, Okay, what's the name of it? How is it filmed? What's the style? What's the energy?
Yep.
Right. So every single, even in Swole TV, every single section, you can see it. It's consistent. It has to be. I'm ridiculously not neurotic, but it's branding. I
Right.
cannot not brand something. I say something, it's on a t-shirt. I have a phrase, it's a new section of the podcast. It's a new experience point,
Yep.
right? It's a new style of video. That's why I haven't posted a lot on TikTok, because I've told you this, I can't figure out what I want to do over and over again. I'll try one thing and I'll do it for a couple or a week or so, and then I just get bored of doing that style.
Yeah.
But these algorithms reward you staying in your fucking lane, which is really weird, because I've been thinking about it more and more. And TikTok is obvious, because I'm in this like nether world of in-betweens on TikTok, where I have all these followers, but nothing pops off for me no matter what I do now.
Yeah.
Because I probably boxed myself into that gray area of not niching enough, not going complete full Thor, because I got bored with that, because I didn't want to get pigeonholed for 5-year-olds, not going pure fitness. I went all those duets. I might just go back to duets again.
Yeah.
Just because I don't think I have anything else. I don't think I have anything. Every time I do one inspirational thing, I'm like,
Yeah.
And TikTok, I just need to roast beaches, but now they're getting wise.
It may be at that. I was just gonna say, it may be at that point for you. And this is just a thought. But it may be at that point for you where you just speak content into existence and allow, teams and people and video editors to like actually fully control those distribution channels, like in regards to like, because I think that's the whole, which you already do all of this, like, just for this.
What do you mean, just recording something and having everyone else atomize it?
Yeah, like legitimate. Like if your TikTok was just like a vertical feed of some of it's high quality, some of it's this, some of it's whatever, but it's spliced together. There's elements in there. There's attention.
Gary V style.
Very, almost like that. Just where it's like to where you don't have to think about it anymore. It's like
that video. I'm sorry, that video you sent me. I've seen a bunch of Gary V impressions. That was phenomenal. I love how the guy's like he's like, did I answer your question? He's like, yeah, kind of. He's like, just go to the Salvation Army
and flip shit.
And then the guy was like, okay.
You imagine walking to the Salvation Army. You can sell this for $7 on eBay.
Oh my God, that was so funny. But yeah, I think that kind of atomization is probably good. Having getting clips for clipping NOC videos and clipping other things. Yeah, it can't be me. But every single channel it's just really nice. It's really nice to get to the point where I look at all my content, look at all the channels, and I think and we talked about this the other day, when the only way to grow, or the only move, and the only move is just to take a deep breath and just keep doing the same shit.
Right.
So it's, how do you do the same shit? And it's very similar to fitness. This is why I connect. And this is why I've been successful to this point, because when I made those connections with the 7 pillars and with fitness and with business, that it's so much just reps.
Yep.
Can you be comfortable, and can you find excitement, and can you find your own type of growth within the same old mundane shit every fucking day? Because most of the time, every fucking day is going to be the same fucking shit. So how do you make that dynamic and exciting? Which is cool, because today it could be like, I'm going to work out. Well, I can push myself. I can do this. I can do a different style workout. Okay, cool. I'm getting my meditation or my mobility, and I'm doing X, Y, and Z. Well, how do I film the same nuts on chin videos? I got to do 4 of those. And I got to do 5 extra Thursdays. I got to do a podcast. How do I make it exciting within? I invest more time. So now I'm just shifting my emotional resources around to the sections that I enjoy, and automating more the production of things that don't excite me as much, or don't have the potential for growth as much.
Right.
But I really enjoy the fact that I look at the PROCAST, and I look at the Papa Swolio channel and the Daily Swole. Those smaller channels are the ones that I'm the most excited about.
Yeah.
And it's not because of that, I'm excited to grow them. It's because of what they represent to me and to my future as a brand and as a human being.
Yeah.
It gives me so much, because I see the PROCAST. It's like, dude, we've already talked about that. We know where this is gonna head already.
Right.
We know why we're doing this. We know it's for us as much as it's for everything that we've talked about, and we're just letting it develop as it develops.
Yes, sir.
And then the Papa Swolio channel is That's just me talking about my stuff. That's just it's gonna be the most just whatever, which is a great kind of like blend of creativity. Whatever I want to talk about is going to be whatever I want to talk about. The DWG is my creative rants. That's cool for the Swolenormous channel, and that's going to flounder and not get a lot of traction. I've already accepted the fact that that might not ever grow again. Who knows? That might just be one of those channels that is on YouTube that stays the same forever.
Yeah.
You know, like those channels that are just like at the same level of subs and growth for like 10 years, and the channel kind of seems dead. There's an audience, but it's not really getting. I don't know. I'm kind of in between, but I've already written it off emotionally where like, I don't care. I'll post over there and I'll have a lot of fun. I'll create hardcore for it. I'll go in, but I've already accepted the fact, just be happy with the way it is. I'm already over it,
right,
to an extent, you know, in terms of just can't get wrapped up in that shit.
What are your indicators to either avoid being romantic about stuff like that or come out of romanticism? Like when something's really popping and working for you, and obviously then sometimes it results in more business or more revenue or more, you know, like opportunities for yourself or the team or like, you know, whatever the case is. How do you decipher, you know, once something shifts, when is it time to pivot? Are there certain indicators? Is it more of like a gut feeling and intuition? Is it like you're watching actual data points? Is it becoming less beneficial to the business, so therefore it becomes more of like a hey, let's keep this faucet on, because you use that phrase a lot and I love that one, like, hey, I'm gonna keep this faucet on because, you know, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, leave the faucet on, but it doesn't mean it has to go full blast right now. You know, what's sort of your process there mentally
for platforms or for creating content, or both?
Yeah, a little both. Probably start with platforms and content.
When do I change? When am I what triggers my I'm kind of over TikTok type thing? What triggers that feeling? God, that's a great question, because I literally think about that all the time. It's really instinct. It's really instinct and feeling. I equate this to me being in the middle of a completely still pool, and I have so many sensors out, and I feel like I'm in the middle of a big just glass, you know, when the ocean or the water is completely glass, I'm just there, and everything around me, every molecule of water is all the content, all the platforms, the social politics, all the podcasts I listen to, the books, just my knowledge and my awareness. But it's really, and I feel a ripple, and I'm like, and but it's like a feeling. I'm like, ooh, what no one else might notice, I'll feel something.
Right.
And I forget what happened about TikTok, but all of a sudden I don't know. It just doesn't seem, and it's not that it's going away, because obviously I still have a big following there, but there was something about it, at least to this point, where your energy spent there is not valuable right now.
Right.
Something about it.
Yep.
I do need to get back to, I think I'm just going to go back to duets on TikTok, to be honest. Because I'll do those because I like making fun, and just doing the facial expressions where people can let them decide if I'm ripping on someone or making fun of them. You know, just do like the mime ones where I'm just kind of like.
This is where I wish you and I lived closer, so that way in these moments we could just get together and create content. You know.
But I know. But I didn't really answer that your question. When do I know to pivot? I guess it depends. If I'm looking at ads and you realize, okay, well, that's not targeting well, or that's getting expensive as shit, which it is. Fucking expensive fast.
Right.
And I think, like I've said before, no matter what has happened, the only place where you can get organic growth legit is YouTube. It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, TikTok, but it's not real growth. 400,000 followers on TikTok. Yeah, but is it? I mean, is it? I mean,
I feel the same way about mine too. I got 46. I'm like,
you give me 400 on YouTube. That's a whole other. You're talking.
I was just gonna say my cute little 1,200 on Instagram gives me more control and understanding of the engagement of my audience than 46,000 people. And you know, there's always the 1-2 videos out of every 10 that like, you know, spike or whatever. But again, I don't feel like I've had maybe 1 or 2 like legitimate, you know, digital or virtual relationships with audience members from, you know, TikTok. Whereas Instagram, it's like, I know a pretty significant portion of my audience there, like that are constantly DMing, constantly messaging me, constantly emailing, engaging with this stuff, sharing it and stuff like that. And it's like, I would personally need to feel that on another platform, regardless of the name, to like give my good energy there, because we're not like other people where we're only, it just depends. Cause I guess you could argue that duets are in all that kind of stuff, whatever. But it's like you and I are, for the most part, 80-20 when it comes to original content versus curated content. So it's like, being a pure creator and not just a chatter or an echo, or whatever. It's like,
what do you think? Should I go back to duets? Just duet? Should I just go back to it?
It's annoying because it works, but does it work? What I'm saying? Like it makes the number move. But does it make
here's the thing. I'm not gonna go in there and be, well, these are the 3 best exercises for biceps.
Yeah.
One, and there's music and there's like some Busta Rhymes song in the background, barbell curl, and then it's over me. And I want to do the Thor stuff because I don't want to put on. It's just I do too much content to try to overproduce it.
I feel like what's working right now is weird storytelling about people and things that you normally wouldn't care about, but because you can glance into it. So like
the green screen.
Like when people are starting,
never happen on an island. Ooh, part 1.
Right. But like if you did, that guy that posted inside of your Facebook group for the community that he got a tattoo like on his shoulder after when he was getting like another one or something like that. Like the I feel like the stuff that's working on TikTok right now is like, enter scene of TikTok, and it's you hear your voice like 48 months ago, I wanted to start a fitness brand, but I didn't know what to do because I had done stuff in the past. And fast forward for it, people have tattooed my logo. So I just want to make this video to encourage you. If you're like, I feel like that's the type of stuff and I'm not saying to do it. I'm just saying I've observed that.
I forget what song that is. It's like and it's like like it changes. It's like, so what I do, and it went like and it's like no and it went like,
feel like that's like what
it went like swipe.
What would you put a name on that? Like what style of communication is that? Is that like, because it feels so jabroni, it feels so fabricated to me when people do that. I see a lot of people doing it with music right now. I wanted to start my career, so I bought
content masturbation.
$20 acoustic guitar because that's all I could afford, and now I'm sitting in my bedroom. It's like it almost comes back down to like virtual signaling and victim, like storytelling. If you and that's why I don't feel like you and I pander to that stuff. And when we see like that's what you have to do, that's the cost of entry, I'm like, I'll keep my cost of entry coin because I don't want to venture into that direction.
It's just beating yourself off. It's the ego too. Oh, you're so wonderful. Oh, you did so well. Hey, my husband said we'll get this if this gets 1 million likes, or like this. My dad always wanted a new car or something, right? My dad deserves this weird cheesy, and it's super produced, or it's super it's shot a certain way. So I don't believe any of that stuff.
It's almost like a weird, like human Sims type of content. Like you want to control people's day or help them make decisions or something.
Why going live is the only thing. I don't see what other media actually is real aside from live.
Yeah.
I mean, literally everything is edited, and you never know. You can't trust anything unless you're seeing it in the moment.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like that's the purest form of performance is live. I mean, Broadway and stuff like that, but that's why I like doing it. I also like maximizing my time. If I'm doing it live, I don't have to edit it. It's done. That's why all my filming is done live. Volume is important still.
Right.
I think people get too caught up with one platform. They get too caught up with one style of video. They get too caught up with always trying to make it a better quality and make it about the quality, and trap themselves into thinking that they have the highest quality. I think you should grow. It's better to grow your brand. It's better to create content. It's better to develop with less equipment to keep that style, even if you get things nicer, to keep it low cost of entry for your emotional sanity. So I produce more content than probably anyone, and in so many different ways. I'm producing content ridiculously. And when I feel like I didn't do anything today, I probably posted 10, 15 videos, 2 podcasts, right? All that stuff.
Right.
And the reason is because I make it so easy to create that content.
Mhm.
I execute it. So it's always about whenever I've upgraded the video quality is better, it's sharper, but it's always been about how do I get a video out or up faster? How do I make it so I don't have to move? How do I make it so I can lower this shotgun mic and turn it on
Yep.
and it's already ready? I'll get another camera so I can put that here so I never have to move this one. So I can always be
Right.
ready to record the podcast. I can flip it on, boom, boom, boom. Here we're live and we're recording. So it's all about, it's like, oh, it doesn't matter if I'm filming from this angle, from that angle. Not really.
Right.
And also it gives you room for growth and it gives you that, it takes away that vulnerability and gives you that longevity because in a sense, not that you lower people's expectations, but in the sense that you're building an audience based on something deeper than just an overproduced piece of content that can be
Right.
commoditized. There's a
Yeah.
lot of great movies. There's a lot of great cinematography. No. If you make it about you,
Yeah.
you're golden because you build an audience around you. You're the only you. So boom, you locked it in.
Yep.
So as much as people might hate my content, it doesn't matter. I have such a core of people that love the fuck out of it. Over time, I'll gradually pick up a couple people here and there.
Yep.
And that snowball will just roll. Hey, it might not be in the middle of the avalanche with everyone else that's growing at a certain speed, but I'm not trying to grow fast.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be. I'm not. I told you this.
That's something our friendship has like really instilled
Brand can be
into me.
big. Brand can be huge.
Yep.
But I want the inner workings to be.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be this big fucking machine. I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be Gymshark. I have no interest in that.
Yeah. I think there's so
that kind of
many
stuff.
facades, obligations, and like unnecessary and unwarranted like responsibility that comes by desiring things that you have no idea how they actually work. And I think part of almost like business IQ or creator IQ is to be
That's
able to
business,
have
probably business EQ too.
yeah. 100. Ooh, that's really good because it's like you have to almost take your mind to a place that you're not currently in to really like smell, scent. Like, do you enjoy the version of that you really see in your head? Like, if that was true today, like, would you like? And I think if a lot of people would take, some solid time to really do that, you would avoid a lot of the building shit that you don't like or whatever, which is why I think for me, I've valued so much more like the consistent flow and just growing slow and incremental, because it's so funny. I have all these people around me right now, like music wise, that are, dropping every 4 or 5 months or whatever and all this kind of stuff. And they'll get low cute, 4,000 views on my drop. Whatever. And it's like, I'm just watching that daily ticker because of the Swole fam, 150, 200, 175, like comment. And I'm just like, and I'm like, you can't take that away because we've been able to create real relationships with people and sort of penetrate a level a lot of creators and a lot of people aren't willing to go to, because it's a lot more sexy to have the big spikes or the big wins or the quick little moments or like in the flashy stuff. And it's like, no, it's like, it's not that sexy that, my thing is just going like this, but it's fulfilling as shit. Because I'm just like, people are waking up today and doing like and listening to me.
How many artists like you? How many artists like you know the names of the people that listen to their music? Know them. You know a lot. You know a lot of people that listen to your music because you're in like you jump into the podcast, especially when I'm playing the songs and when I have to take a piss. When I have to take a piss, I play a King D song. I'll drop one track. I usually ask, "What do you guys want to hear?" I give them options, and they're all like, "Gang Gang remix Vesuvius, Hard the Paint." And it's like,
see, I love that because, and then too, like in marketing, they'll give it names like it's brand advocacy and what. No, it's being a effing human and valuing the people who are taking time out of their schedule and their days and their routines to consume a part of who you are. Like, and the most valuable comment that I get from the Swole fam is, I don't even listen to rap, and it'll be like 1 out of every 6 or 1 out of every 5 comments. And I love your music. That means, oh, there's a relationship here. It's not just, does this sound good to you? it's, oh, I actually value the perspective of the person of where this is coming from. And I know because I have touch points with that person, I have a relationship, like this is enjoyable to me. So it's almost like by association, just like my kids, like if my kids end up doing something in their life like that they enjoy, like my oldest daughter's really into dresses. I don't personally care about dresses and all that kind of stuff. Like for me as a human and like fashion design, all that stuff, but I love it in the way that she does it, because I'm just like, that is beautiful. It's like, I love looking at all of her designs. I love looking at what she's doing creatively. I love it when like, my middle child will like, create a pattern and then she'll use that pattern to put on dress. So like, I love it by association of the relationship that I have. So that's what I love, even with the Swole fam and everybody showing love to the music and everything. It's like, you don't have to like rap to be in relationship with a creator who's available time-wise and available relationally. And most people aren't willing to do that because they want the title, the prestige, and the clout ultimately.
They hustle after those. Yeah, they try to go after the followers, the likes, the subs. And again, it comes down to people losing track of, they start by trying to get attention. They want to get popular. They want to grow a channel. Right. They want to grow a profile. They want to get followers. They start off that way. That's the problem.
Yep.
They don't start with a deeper purpose. They don't start with a deeper intent. They start with that. And that's why they're fundamentally fucked. And it's really hard to undo that. Yeah. I started by doing the podcast for a reason, to build something. And I've always repeatedly gone back to what I'm building and separating the metric from the identity and from the self-value.
Yeah.
So when someone calls me, I laugh and I kind of cringe, but I'm also happy because it's a compliment when someone calls you. I think it's supposed to be when someone's like, "Oh, Papa Swole, yeah, this YouTuber, the bearded YouTuber." When someone calls me a YouTuber, I'm like, oh my God, I am so far from a YouTuber. It's ridiculous. Even though I have 5 channels.
Right.
Yeah, I make videos on YouTube. I have YouTube channels.
Yeah.
I am not a YouTuber. I am not an influencer in the sense that most people define that, because I have such depth and structure that YouTube is completely, and that's what gives, again, that's what happens when you have a business, when you are self-sufficient to the extent that if YouTube shuts me down, everything just goes inside Swole TV. It's there for that reason. There's bonus content there, and there's some playlists like the Swole Motion and stuff that's exclusive for members, but that's also there as a backup, or a backup and a growth aspect, because things just go there. If I get canceled from a platform or something gets blocked or banned, all right, I create the content, I put it in there, and people that want the content will still have access to it. So it's about, being real. And that's why it's important to be real. And that's why I have all these different channels that are specific about me talking about whatever topics. The Papa Swolio channel, whether it has 1 million subscribers eventually or it never gets past 5,000, that's the place where I talk about whatever I want to talk about.
Yeah.
That's just any topic. And then I have the Extra Thirsty, where it's a little more smut. It's more, stupid tweets. It's more, it's more TMZ or Entertainment Tonight. It's more sleazy, kind of like, here's what's trending at the overtime. It's got the fucking rage 5 minutes on the fucking clock and just ranting about some stupid shit.
Yeah.
It's cool. And the Daily Swole is the experience you have, but I have different avenues for all that. In the PROCAST, you can have a conversation with one of my favorite humans. And it's just, if you are yourself and you have to, again, make it the way you want to make it. People don't start with that first. They try to get attention without knowing, and then they get wrapped up in not knowing what they actually like to do. You got to know what you like to do, and you have to do that. And I don't understand everyone in the world. Oh my God. Everyone in the world can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You just have to start. Oh, but there's so much out there. Oh, fuck you. I feel like you can pop even more now, just because there's so much more attention on the phone. You have a lot more eyes that are potentially going to see your stuff. I'm so glad I started when I did. I don't want to say that you never want to say it's too late now, because it's never too late, but man, it is really noisy. It is really, I mean, there's nothing that exists right now that has legit, the TikTok window is gone.
Yep.
for that real organic reach.
Yep.
You saw with me, I got in 3 months, I got 300,000 followers, and then
Yep.
I'm still at like 385 or 95 or whatever.
Yep.
So it really hit hard. I'm gonna start duetting again. You want to see? Should I just like vomit duets and see if they flag me just all day? No, but just do it and see if it grows. Maybe I should
might as well. Yeah.
go back to the duets.
But you said something that was really beautiful that I want to highlight is not finding your identity in the function of a thing, because you have to disassociate yourself with how something functions. You being a YouTuber would be the equivalent of me calling you, oh, he's a professional car driver, just because you use your car to go to the grocery store and the gym or whatever. Oh yeah, he's a car driver. Yeah. No, he uses his car to go to places. He's a YouTuber. No, he uses YouTube to distribute the content that he creates for his brand. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you don't, so I think it's just, you have to disassociate yourself, both your identity, your value, your self-worth, and your expectation from things that are legitimate. They exist in space. They exist digitally. That's all it is. And then you're just fragmenting a portion of who you are in a way that you creatively want to express it, to put it over there. But to literally, that's like, you know, it's almost like people who still live with their parents and know, you know, there's of course scenarios where it's merited, but people who still live with their parents and they're 35 and 40 and 45, whatever, because you were never able to find identity in who you were and always associated it with the relation with your family. So there's no autonomy, there's no self-identity, there's no unique fingerprint. And then you get to enjoy that uniqueness and that unique identity with, you know, the function, or in this case or metaphor, the relationship. So it's like, again, it's like YouTube is your daddy. So you're going to, if daddy doesn't give you enough attention, you're going to be like, oh, I'm not going to create, you know, as much. And so you're going to go over to mommy, who's Instagram, who's giving you a little bit more. Like, come on, y'all. It's like it's a bunch of kids.
Daddy, give me kisses. Come on, love me. Love me. Give me likes and followers. Yeah, give me the subscribers. It's so true. It's so true. You can't let yourself be vulnerable. You have to know how you're being used.
Right.
It's always about mastering or experiencing one app before the next.
Yeah.
That kind of just, I agree with what you said. I think you kind of closed the door on that one.
Yeah.
It makes me think about people that write off apps, people that are talking about TikTok. Oh, TikTok's for kids. Or I feel like TikTok exploded, matured, but you know what it seems like? TikTok for me is like a fluke genetic condition where a 6-year-old looks like a 25-year-old man or something.
Yeah.
And you think, oh shit, there's a full-grown man, but the person is actually 6 years old and they have this genetic disease or condition that makes them look biologically a lot older than they are chronologically.
Right.
So TikTok is this giant strapping, but it has the emotional, like the time maturity.
Yeah.
It's kind of like trying to mature a wine before it's ready, or a whiskey. You can't rush it, even with the growth, even with features, even with money, even with advertising. You can't rush maturity because it seems like it's already peaked before it aged down or aged up, before it really aged up.
Yeah.
Because you have everyone and your grandmother on Facebook. A lot of people are on Instagram. But it seems like TikTok just went boom, and it seems like a lot or most people still don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And that takes time. And a lot of people have written that off. They're saying, oh, the kids dancing. I've been hearing on Joe Rogan's podcast and every other thing when they talk about, oh, TikTok, you know, the kids dancing on TikTok. I see it in these news clips and stuff. No one knows what that app is at all.
Right.
I don't know. I rarely see dancing on. I see it, but it's not about dancing. It was about dancing until maybe like October, November last year.
Like before you came, it was just coming out of just being dancing.
Like a month or two after Charlie, like literally a month or so in from what I was doing it.
Right.
I would say October of 2019 was when it started going completely. Nope, this ain't about dancing. This is just a full blown Instagram platform, and people. That's why I didn't dance. It blew up by me making like faces and stuff.
Right.
at stupid TikTok chicks
Yeah.
and doing those duets and stuff. Like they literally undid and pulled the rug out from all the hardcore Instagram and Facebook and YouTube copyright. You can't fucking post anything. It gets flagged like crazy. TikTok's like, here, steal everyone's shit.
Yep.
Here, we'll give you a
And in fact, we'll give you tools to do it.
Yeah, here's the feature. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, just don't even tag them. You can delete their you can delete their screen name. Yeah, you don't have to tag them. And then people, how come you didn't tag them? Because I don't have to, motherfucker.
Because I'm literally allowed to.
If they want to make the tag stay there permanently, just
which I think they may have changed recently.
It's like, then change it. Who cares? I didn't care, but it was just the comment looked cleaner without the tag, and people would get curious, so they would click more and watch more, right? And they would try to figure it out. So people would hunt more, so they would spend more time on your video. So it was like a little bit of a strategy, so people didn't see and then just hit the name and bounce off your video.
Yeah.
So there's like a strategy there, but everyone thinks, oh, come on, give them a shout out. Oh, come on, you didn't at me because you're a fucking twink.
Yeah.
But anyway, people wrote that shit off, man. And
they still are, and they still will.
Yeah, but I feel like TikTok, I don't know. I don't see how it continues to grow. I almost feel like it soured before it really ripened.
Yeah.
I
would. So let's do something.
It depends on like who. Yeah, it depends on what happens with this purchase, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, let's each share an idea of what we think it could potentially save TikTok or get it back on a trajectory of like heavy growth and being dominant. I would personally say that if they were bought by like an Apple or a Disney or like somebody who had a little bit more of like the storytelling media side capabilities, and original content, whatever, it would be kind of cool to see like a quicker maturity into what YouTube tried to do with like YouTube Red and YouTube Originals and all that kind of stuff. I feel like they did it way too late in regards to you have a platform built on user generated content. They should have been picking off the top 10% of best creators and creating higher quality and doing originals like far before, because the only reason I started doing that is because Netflix started stealing attention, so I think for me, it would be a combination of, okay, they're already starting to do it a little bit, like in regards to the creator fund, in regards to the relationship with like United Masters. So even the music you're using, you're having more selection. You're able to have a little bit deeper of a relationship there if you're the actual musician. So I think if they continue to work on their partnerships or make those core partnerships like internal functions, and then create some sort of original side, if they could be one of the first platforms to do like almost vertical cinema in a way that is like actual, like taps into people. Oh yeah, I'm watching my Tuesday night show or whatever, but it's like a vertical TV show, 15 minutes, like whatever, like, and it's legitimate produce and they're pulling in talent and creators and relationship and all that kind of stuff. I would say that would be a unique, because they'd be sitting right between like a short form Netflix and a like more interactive and dynamic Instagram. And then it would be like, oh, that's really fun because I can go on there and I could either be a consumer and watch low quality stuff by user generated people or high quality stuff by, whatever. Or I could also be a creator and tap into both of those things too, depending on what I want to do,
I don't think people want long form vertical.
Really?
Well, why do you watch vertical? You watch vertical if you're holding your phone.
Right.
How long do you hold your phone before you're like, fuck this, I want to put it down and turn it sideways? That's why IGTV bombed.
Yep.
I don't know if people want to like long.
Well, also long form is relative. Long form on mobile could be,
and attention is so. But that's why YouTube was doing that with Dude Perfect and those seasons that they were doing originally. YouTube Premium was great, playing stuff in the background, like they were smart with that. But Google's always been terrible with their network,
and their branding of stuff, and
their behind the scene was at the
Google Plus.
Yeah, I still don't know what that is. We're trying to change a profile pic. You have 8 different logins. Google's the most, and I think it's because Google pretty much started everything and they built stuff and they're like, probably like, fuck, we have to like go back and try to tie this together.
Right.
It seems very,
because you had YouTube Premium, YouTube Red, YouTube Originals, YouTube Music, YouTube TV, and then just regular YouTube.
It's just so they're built on such black and white behind the scenes structure.
Yeah.
That it almost doesn't need to be all flowery and fancy up front. It's such a structural foundation.
Yeah.
It's more black and white binary. Here's Google. It does this. You log in with this. it's almost they have such a monopoly. They don't have to make it easy to find or use settings. You're just tied in no matter what.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like what TikTok's going to do, or like in terms of
Or what they could
competition,
do if
what
to stay and remain competitive.
I don't even think we can answer that until we know who's going to buy it.
Yeah.
Like, because we don't know behind the scenes. You know
Who
what?
has 100 liquid? Jesus.
Bro, the biggest thing that I keep looking at and thinking about nonstop that no one talks about, the news cycle is so short. People have been sleeping, and they still are, on Spotify. No
Yeah.
one, like, what the people are just, they ignore what Spotify did.
I can't
Anyone
wait.
forget that they gave Joe at least, they said 100 million. Who knows how much he got? No one knows his contract but him.
Mhm.
So they're going video. Okay. And they bought Anchor, so they're creating podcasts. They're signing big talent.
Bro, it's about to be
I don't know if
heaven for creators like you and I who use it.
it's about to be good, or I really think, to be honest, I think Joe is. I don't know what his content's going to do on YouTube if he's not going to post clips at all on YouTube. I don't know if that's part of the contract. If all the clips on his channel get removed.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the deal is with that, but if that's the case, it depends. Obviously, it's so much money, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
It's so much money that he knows I could do whatever I want. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But just from my standpoint, when I look at distribution and exposure, I think it's a terrible decision.
Yeah.
I think from a cultural standpoint, if that was the goal, obviously, when you have a family, when you're, how old is Joe? 50 something.
Mm-hmm.
When
Probably
you're,
late 40s or
yeah, when
late
you're doing that, it's, hey, it's like your truth. Hey, bro, KD, you like making music, right? Yeah, cool. Okay. So you're trying to get distribution, trying to get a lot of people to hear it. But if you're only on Spotify, right, we'll give you $100 million for X amount of years, whatever it is. Just imagine it being holy shit.
Right.
So do you care if what's important to you the most is your creation and creating that? Then it doesn't matter if you have 100,000 or 1 million people listening. If you're getting that money,
Right.
you can just create. Do you care? I just feel like if you're going only on Spotify, I think it's going to be a Howard Stern. A lot of people aren't going to use Spotify no matter
Right.
what. They're not going to. They're not going to download the app just for that. I think people underestimate. I mean, obviously the money has to outweigh that potential, but people underestimate how far someone will go out of their way from their normal pattern. I listen to all my podcasts. I use Spotify, so I will listen there.
Yeah.
But I use Apple Podcasts. A lot of people will use Apple Podcasts. They're not going to pay $9 or $10 or whatever the hell Spotify is now.
Which Apple Podcast already lets you do video too. I don't know if you knew that.
Was that new, or is that like?
I'm not sure how new it is, but I have a couple clients that are using it, and I like looked at it and I was like, oh, they already have it.
Everything does. Everything does video.
But I did want to bring up, and we don't necessarily have to start the conversation on it now. We can, but the other indicator that I see sort of playing into what can these platforms do to remain and stay competitive and all that kind of stuff. Everybody's going self-serve advertising now. Spotify did it. Hulu's doing it. I mean, which means if Hulu's already doing it, you're going to see Disney Plus doing it. You're going to see Amazon doing it. You're going to see Netflix doing it. And this is a thing, Facebook was the first media company to ever do that at scale, to where they started creating media types for consumers at the consumer level. And then what naturally happened is those ad types ended up becoming a core function on the forward facing side of it too, not just the dark behind the scenes. So in my opinion, if Hulu, and even just how they worded it, I don't know if I have a screenshot still or not, but essentially they said something to the effect, it was like just a green screen said, Hulu's now introducing self-serving advertising. And on the bottom it says, have your content right beside the biggest shows on TV. So if they're already saying that, eventually do you think Hulu, and this is a hypothetical, do you think platforms like Hulu would ever allow a user-generated side, whether it's controlled or just free, to their platform and not only just highly produced content?
Oh, you mean like if Hulu starts to be like, hey,
because if Hulu advertising takes off, the next natural move is let them create organic content too.
Well, I think they already do. Hulu has originals. I think you can already.
No, I'm saying like you being able to hop on a YouTube or Hulu and upload a video.
I think it'll be more, let's get the top,
Yeah.
MKBHD or something. They get
Yeah.
him over on exclusive on Hulu or something, or they sign a contract like Joe Rogan.
Right.
Um,
So like controlled user content almost.
yeah, I don't think that's their business model at
Yeah.
all in the future. I
And
mean,
even
you never
Airbnb did
know.
it. Did you
Never
see?
know.
Did you ever see that update?
It's a whole different thing having user guide. I mean, just the fact that YouTube
Yeah.
doesn't explode just with the amount of volume, it's unreal. What'd you say?
Right. Did you see what Airbnb's in the game too? Did you see it?
For
It
what?
was like a month
For
and a half
digital?
ago.
For
And a
digital
month and a
stuff?
half ago, they introduced that now all of their hosts can do like upload video to the platform. So a
Oh,
host that would,
virtual. Yeah.
yeah. So they're essentially, from cooking shows to Pilates to
Well, because you
dog
can't
training,
if there's COVID going around, you can't have someone coming over. They started
the
doing cooking shows
commodity.
with this.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Finish
No,
that
they're
thought.
doing cooking shows. It's smart because if you have someone doing a cooking show in their
Gordon
apartment,
Ramsay. Yeah.
well, right, but they're doing it in their house, that is also for rent. Oh, I love that place. Oh, I'd love to stay there for a night. Well, you
Mhm.
can stay for a night and use the same kitchen that Sally is doing Sally's cooking show. It's $1,000 a
Yes,
night.
bro.
So it's
So
like
literally the
it's
the
like having, hey,
individual household is now
it's like,
the
hey, sleep over
commodity.
here. Sleep over here. You want to sleep in the bed that Papa Swolio lays on? It's like, hey, you can
Right.
spend a night at Papa Swolio's house or something.
Yeah. Swolio Studios.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Swole
just so funny
Studios.
to me because I'm like, okay, when you have that many, and they all have money, bro. They all have money. It's just a matter of time before Uber is like, hey, like, bro, who thought Airbnb was gonna add video to their platform? Like, who would have
Wow.
ever predicted that?
COVID.
And so it's like, imagine, hey, not like, because it's like first it's eats, then it's driving, and it's like eventually, okay, well, you also have Teslas and all these cars are going electric now who are going to have actual screens where are no different than the device that you have in your hand. So would it be kind of crazy to have like Uber TV?
Well,
I
you
mean, I
might.
don't
Well,
know.
they probably should. They have those cameras probably already going for insurance purposes, right?
Yeah. Because imagine
Oh, you
like even
can.
having car shows, like you're in an Uber drive, but that Uber specifically has like a show, so he likes to have conversations with his,
That's
you
a
know,
that's a
bro,
clip. Well, that's also no. Well, that's yeah. You're gonna have privacy things and all that. That was
yeah,
when those clips, like other entrepreneurs and Gary and people were saying how BMW should make headphones. They just make the best headphones in the world. That brand, it's all
yeah,
logo. With a
yeah,
brand, you could do anything.
right,
You could have Sony. Sony can make shoes. If they make great shoes, people would buy it. Like if it's a good product, people will purchase it.
right,
And that's the thing, you can, right? That's a famous quote too, or it's a famous concept. Because it's legit. It doesn't matter how good your marketing is. If your product sucks, it's going to fail.
yep,
If the marketing is like, but you have a great product, it can still blow up. You can get a cult following. It can still get super popular if everyone loves it.
right,
But bottom line, that's why a lot of frustration for me personally was until I got Swolenormous X to where I was happy with all the sections. I was happy with what I was producing. I was happy with where things were going. Because if the product is good, or before it was solid and coherent and I knew what I wanted to post and people were liking it, it doesn't matter what I post on YouTube. If people don't like, they're not happy with the product. But of course, all the Swole fam, like they fucking love it. They're super stoked. They're getting great results. If the product works, you're going to have the people that love it. You're going to have people that members that come, you get members that go. You're always
yep,
going to have that ebb and flow. You can't make everyone happy. You can't keep every member. You can't keep every customer. You never will.
right,
Especially if you have a subscription service, and especially if things get rough with finances and things like that. And
yeah,
you're never going to make everyone happy. So it's important to do it right, create a good product, create a good service, but avoid that vulnerability. It just
right,
keeps on coming back to you being vulnerable. If you're not watching your six, and that's every app. If you're only on YouTube, I mean, I feel it scares that reminds me, it scares the fuck out of me when someone only has a YouTube channel or only has a TikTok. I'm like, oh
yeah,
God, when I click on their Instagram or YouTube and they have no following or no videos, I'm
yep,
like, oh, if people hear you talk for more than you're dancing for 15 seconds, you think people are going to want to hear you talk for a 10-minute YouTube? You probably have people don't want to, most people can't translate that shit over. You probably didn't hear this, but there's this one account just got banned, suspended, and it's super. I saw this and I'm like, oh shit, it's fucking happening. So the page Leafy is here. You know who Leafy is? You probably heard the
Leafy.
name
Mm,
Leafy. He's this kid who does a lot of trolling. He's always gotten into a lot of like fights on the internet. He does a lot of troll posts. He does gaming and stuff, but a lot of commentary. He's got into it with Keemstar and H3H3, I think, and stuff like that. Kind of like that network where he'll make videos about, it's like the gamer kind of YouTube drama type stuff.
Yeah.
Where he'll have like a video game while he's talking trash over it, and then playing a video game and then showing little clips. So he made like 10 to 15 videos on this chick who's been getting some kind of flack or some type of pushback.
Oh yeah, I've definitely seen his face.
Oh yeah, you're looking it up. So yeah, but his shit got suspended because he got suspended for targeted harassment to this one chick, Pokimane or something. I don't know what the obsession is or what the focus is, but he has like 5 million subscribers, and he just got, and listen to this, he did like 10 or it was like 9 videos or 12 videos, but he had no strikes, just got fucking boom, wiped.
Jesus,
bro. So his channel just got removed. So apparently, because he like, he violated the service or whatever. So rather than have like, hey, you did this is a target, we deem this a targeted harassment campaign. You have a strike, not copyrighted, but you have a strike. It's one strike. They treated each video like a strike. So it's like, even if you only took 4 videos, even if it was only a quarter, even 4 videos, you still had 4 strikes. That's really crazy.
Yeah.
So you can, in other words, hey, we're redefining things. What's targeted harassment? What counts as it? Because I make a lot of videos about people.
Yep.
I don't think it's targeted harassment if I make a video about someone every 6 videos or someone post. It's social commentary, right? Because people harass. I don't know. It's YouTube commentary. It's YouTube drama, or it's this human drama. It's human nature. So when you start blocking people and censoring people like that, where that noose only gets tighter, bro.
I was just gonna say, where does it end?
It doesn't get better. It only gets worse. So once you start meddling with people's free speech and what they can say and what constitutes as harassment, what doesn't.
Yeah.
Even if it was just a warning, even if you got a warning from YouTube saying, hey, this is a strike
as of this day,
or reach out after, or be like, hey, this is a warning. If you post one more video about this person, it's going to give you a strike. And then if he does that, it's his fault.
Yep. At
least give a warning or one strike for that. And then obviously you've been warned. You're not going to do it anymore, or you're going to, you have the information where you can make an adult decision and then decide if you want to trash your shit.
Right.
So it's one of those things where it gets scary. And I saw a couple of videos where saying, I don't think people are freaked out about this enough. And I agree. Whenever you see someone getting banned or removed, I'm thinking, oh crap, because I go hard on shit. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people go hard and say dumb stuff. I don't know. Maybe they say it too seriously and they don't. I always feel like my stuff kind of slips under the radar, but everything's so compartmentalized. Who knows? Yeah. They don't even show your videos to people that get pissed off because it's so insulated. They're trying to keep everyone in their own little subscriber bubble. Like even my fucking subs don't even see my videos. They don't get notified.
Right. And at the end of the day, they just need to separate it. I mean, what we're really seeing is like a combination of like what used to be the business model of like TV. Like if you bought Stars or HBO, you knew you were getting sensitive content. So it's like, why do none of these platforms, instead of just like removing creators who are legitimate, bringing millions of eyeballs to their platform and retaining them, just create a section for people and stop telling them they have to create different. That's almost like if the office was in midair,
they have memberships.
Oh, do they?
Well, yeah. YouTube join button. You ever see the YouTube membership?
Oh yeah,
But obviously, whatever
or force that, I'm saying, hey, we're not gonna. You either need to introduce the subscription model on your channel, or you can no longer post this publicly, or something like that.
I don't think they would allow that privately because it still falls under YouTube TOS. So that's like,
but then they can at least control the sign up process. Like you can't sign.
Well, they that's what I was thinking, because I don't have any, because I do Swole TV. Yeah. So I've thought about starting a join on one of my channels, because I figure, oh, you know what? Maybe YouTube is punishing me for not starting a join because they make a ton of money off me bringing people in. So if I don't have a membership at my channel size and everyone else does, why would they be distributing my channel where they're not making as much money off me, because they don't have the potential to because I'm not signing people up for memberships, they're not benefiting as much from my channel as another one that has a membership option.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I've actually thought about that. Maybe that's actually holding my stuff back to an extent that I don't have the option to join.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's $3 a month through that. But then I have people in Swole TV. It's like, I create enough content, man. I don't need another membership to, then it's going to, because I haven't done it, because then my marketing message is just completely confused. Oh, join here on YouTube. Oh, that's not the Swole fam. Join the Swole fams on the site. That's the officials. That's a Swole.
Brand like confusion. Yeah.
I can't even send them to one place. People have enough to think about.
And we live in an age where we live in an age where people like platforms would get canceled. Like imagine if the shit that used to happen to like, your subscription things back in the day, like I can think of the logo. It's not Comcast. It's not starts with the Time Warner of the world, like that kind of stuff. Like they were able to do like real just archaic sort of shitty, not connected shit behind the scenes because nobody was like blasting them on social. Now TV channels or networks or production companies, what used to be all of those are now the YouTubes, the Instagrams or whatever. It's like, if you were to pull some shit like that, like everybody's going to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think it's one of those things where, and I'm talking about how they infrastructure in the background. Like I think we're going to get to the place where platforms are even canceled, because it's just like when there's too many ways to do a thing, or when you're not serving the creator and the audience and whatever. It's like people remember when like Vero popped off and everybody was talking about it for like 90 days. And then they didn't upgrade their servers or whatever the heck was happening because they were dealing with some type of like, whether it was the financing and the venture capital versus the leaders. And then literally just like that, nobody ever heard of it again. And everyone was like, this is going to be the Instagram killer right now, So
a few that I've downloaded.
YouTube needs to do something.
It was what I have on my phone. I have Hollowness. I have Hollowness. I downloaded Vero. I opened it up and I was like, meh. And then what, Triller? I have it, but I've never even used it. It's music, right?
Yeah, I have Triller. It's essentially TikTok, and it was originally like music facing for like hip hop artists and all that kind of stuff, or just artists in general, musicians.
Bro,
now, because TikTok blew up, they expanded to all content, whatever.
What if Spotify buys TikTok?
That would be intense.
They probably, who knows?
I have Triller and like.
What if whoever buys TikTok buys Triller and just merges it and just absorbs it? Because that's kind of where it is right now, where you have these apps or these companies that are so big. If there's an up and coming, they either just get bought. Yeah. Obviously, that's usually what happens. They get bought, and trying to avoid like monopolies and stuff. But because it's digital, Facebook has a monopoly. Not really, but pretty damn fucking close.
Right.
Because they did it. Like, I still don't know how they got WhatsApp. I don't know how they pulled that off after they had Instagram. I believe that was after the fact. Talk about.
I think it's because people didn't know where messaging was going, so it didn't seem like a threat.
Right. No, they did that, and then Messenger, and you can see what they're doing. They're keeping them all separate, so it doesn't seem like one big massive. Right. They have it's a little bit of you can cut off a finger and you don't die. You don't bleed out from cutting off a finger.
Yep.
You have 4 fingers, 2 thumbs, you got toes, you can cut off limbs. That's what Facebook is. You got Instagram, you got Facebook, you have WhatsApp is a foot, you have this, you have all these different things that are disposable. If something happens on Instagram, people don't like Facebook. They're like, I don't like Instagram, I only use Facebook.
Right.
Okay.
I wonder if that was the reason they were putting like when you logged into Instagram, for a while there it was saying from Facebook at the bottom. Same thing with WhatsApp. I wonder if that was not a branding play. I wonder if that was a regulation. Like maybe after they went through all that stuff in the media, they were
required.
Yeah, hey, you guys need to start letting people know that these platforms belong to you or something like that.
Did they change that? They changed
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it recently. So that's why
Facebook. Facebook, they do releases in sections too. So they'll release it to specific sections of people. I think they might have been doing it for maybe a reaction to see like branding response or do some kind of like positive branding.
I just checked. It says from Facebook.
I think it's kind of like how I believe this was the timeline when Zuckerberg was in front of Congress, and then all of a sudden Apple changed their campaign to that Apple closing. Apple's like now the security king. Yeah, they were really smart. I mean, Apple's always been good with think different and the basic clean marketing, just security. Oh, just go all in on security. Just pretend like you're the most
Yep.
secure shit and focus on that. It's brilliant. It was a brilliant, like with the little Apple click. It's whoever came up with that's on point.
Yeah.
And I saw that, I'm like, oh, well, because Facebook needed to make Facebook the name of it nice
Right.
again. Nice again. So they have to, I think, dissociate themselves from all that crap. Yeah, they're very segmented and spread out, but it's very coherent behind the scenes. Well, most people don't know how connected they are because if you run ads on Facebook, if you use ads Power Editor, I don't even know what they call it anymore.
It's business
Change-
manager and ads manager. So your
Right.
business manager controls a
change it
bunch of
tomorrow.
ad accounts and stuff. Yeah.
It'll be Facebook Manager tomorrow or something.
Yeah.
It'll be FB Life with a Y.
Right.
But you see when you're running ads, you're oh shit. Because when you're running on the back office, you can see how they look at their platforms, which is which I think is the biggest thing that most people don't know because they don't run a business.
Love that you said that.
Yeah, that's how I look at any update. I look at, okay, why did Instagram do that? It's all chess.
Yep.
It's like 4D chess. So you look at, okay, the TikTok update. I don't care about the following. I look and see, oh, when you're doing covers now you can create your own cover, which means they are going to bias towards the feed. They want you to go to a profile. Otherwise, they wouldn't be helping you do cover pictures.
Right.
They want you to be able. So they're doing whatever they're doing. They're going to be sending you. They're probably not going to be fucking you with as many things. They're probably going to be running ads somewhere. They're going to be sending you or biasing towards the feed. So you click and they'll play like 5 seconds of a video before, an integrated experience, in-stream ad experience. And then you go right into the video that you want to see, kind of like YouTube.
Right.
So they're, you see that update. What they're making it better for you to create. They're making it better for you to create so they can get you to do it, get more hooked, and then do what they want you to do. So when you see Instagram or Facebook, you see in-stream, you see native, you see IG stories, Facebook stories, news feed, sidebar, blah blah
Audience
blah.
network, everything.
You have copy here.
Yep.
They give you all the tools to test, to try different copy, try different links, try different looks, try different. Here's how it looks here. Here's how it looks here. But when you see that, how they use it, it's because they have all these different avenues. It's almost like Facebook is creating their own invulnerability by giving you the ability to advertise in so many different nuanced ways that no matter where attention goes, I mean, think about what kind of attention Facebook has. If you like to message people a lot on Messenger, what do? They make Messenger awesome. You can do video calls, voice calls, group calls, X, Y, and Z. A lot of people, you can go on Facebook and not use anything else. Facebook could be your one-stop shop it's like its own little WeChat, right?
Yep.
WhatsApp, it's a beautiful app. It's unreal. I never use it because I use it for international Swole text.
Right.
Aside from that, I don't use it. You can do everything. It's great. It's an amazing app. It's just more of an international foreign app. Not a lot of Americans use WhatsApp unless you're talking internationally.
Right.
But it's great. It's like iMessage for all phones, right? So, and then you have Instagram. You can do video, you can do stories. You don't have to leave Instagram. So why do you have 3 or 4 platforms where you don't have to go anywhere else but there? It's because it's insurance. If one goes down, they just have depth. They have so much depth with all of those things, not to mention all the other companies that they own that no one even knows about, that they own, that they're growing.
Right. We're starting to see very blurred lines between the differentiation between any of these platforms. They were literally like the more placements you have, the more features, the more ad types you have, whatever. And that's why I was going to say in relation to what you were saying, that, like Instagram and Facebook and these people introducing these features, and then even with like Messenger, like you said, you could do all those things in there. Well, shortly after, what do you think shows up in the back end of Business Manager? Now you can do placements in Messenger. Now you can do placements in Reels. Now you can do plays because they activate the behavior, and then they activate the placement, and then they activate the behavior.
You watch behind the scenes, and you watch that, and you see, okay, that's where they're going. Where do they want people to go? They added Reels. So obviously go post some fucking Reels because they're going to be showing that to a lot of people. You want some organic reach? I posted a Reel. It got a ton of views. Reels is
talk about that. Bring me in. I haven't used it yet. So
I don't know. I posted one. It fucking sucks to use.
Does it?
I mean, I made one. I have no instinct to go post on Instagram. I just have no drive to do it. My Instagram, we post, I do a couple stories. It's just not like, hey, I need to talk to everyone. Let me do an Instagram story. I just feel, I don't know. Again, it's that feeling. And I don't know if it's me inside really burning out from using, because I'm pretty fried from using all the apps to posting everywhere. And I think a lot of it now is just there's so much redundancy. I feel like the only places that I get excited to post are YouTube. I feel like YouTube is the only thing that's actually as much as I don't like depending or focusing too much on any one thing.
Right.
I feel like YouTube is still the standard. Nothing looks anything like YouTube.
Yeah.
Nothing like anytime you make videos, nothing is just like the way YouTube works.
Right.
And because I don't know, Facebook has Facebook Watch or what, they've botched that. They're just really as forward thinking or as smooth as some of these apps work. The Instagram and Facebook, they do some things amazing, and they really botch some shit, like which is still impressive because hey, they don't waste time. They try things. That's what I do like about the company. They implement features all the time that just suck and they disappear and they come back and they're changing shit more than you ever realize, which is great because that's how they figure out what works. But just like the implementation of stuff that just fundamentally, why would you not have that feature ready? Why would you not have the IGTV feature on launch that allowed you to go to the feed, that allowed that integration? Remember, it took them a year or something or 8 months to put it there. And by that time it was already kind of meh. You know, you confused the hell. Remember that launch? We watched it and it was just so lackluster. And oh God.
You and I literally were just like, that was a bad launch.
And then I went out on the porch and I turned my camera vertically and I'm like, oh God, this was already it was already weird. It was already weird.
And I think, and there's also like, I mean, which there's just a whole layer of like politics and bureaucracy and stuff like that behind the scenes. Because shortly after the IGTV launch, I'm pretty sure the two founders of Instagram left the company. It's just like, it's like, I mean, then you have to deal with like, oh, it's not the original vision of the company. It's not, like, it's like, whatever. So, but
I mean, the vision's going to go. It's hard to just suppose when you don't know. There's so far ahead of what's actually implemented. Because then to implement this stuff in the code is obviously, why don't you just put it here? God, I can't even imagine trying to update an app like that at that scale to make it work seamlessly. You have to test it first. You have to make sure. You can't make any drastic moves because people will leave and not come back. If you lose a user because of a feature, it's just weird how they don't bias it more towards stories, or how they don't allow you to customize who you follow. You have to see what they post still, I think. If you follow someone, you see it in your feed. Is it still automatic like that?
Wait, if you post it, it's automatically in your feed?
If you follow someone on Instagram, you see them in your feed when you're home screen. It shows up. Like, why can't you curate that like Facebook? You can unfollow, you can choose what you post. Only me, only my group, only this group of people see this post. So you can follow people or be acquaintances, but not have to see every time they post a picture of their meal for the day or of their kid or something like that. Or
I know there's some of those hidden features because I have a ton of people muted. I have a ton of people that are not like seeing my stuff. They can only see certain things but can't see other things. It's just it's security is going to become more complicated over time with all this stuff. No,
it has nothing to do with security. That's not what I mean. No, I'm not talking about security.
Oh, I'm saying like security in the standpoint of like publishing preferences and all of that. Is it because essentially it's related to security, like, keeping the information you want in front of the right people. So, that's why I meant to say privacy. So like, I think it's just like, it's going to be more complicated over time because like, I'm like, even just, speaking of privacy, I was just thinking about this the other day. I still have, you remember when Spotify first launched and one of the core features was you could see what your friends were listening to. And it was like the whole right-hand sidebar was just like a list of your friend whatever is listening to this right now and the whatever, and you could turn that off and whatever. They still haven't got rid of that feature, first of all. And second of all, I saw people that I'm not even connected to their lives in any way for almost a decade now. And it's like, I'm still seeing what they're listening to every day. And
Probably because you logged in with Gmail or something when you first signed up. And
yeah, way back in. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, and that's an archaic one. It's like all these new feet, like there's going to be privacy. Like it's getting too complicated to where it's like, we almost are going to have to choose what networks we want to, like, but back to your original point that started this section of like, they're all starting to have all of the features. Like, what's the difference between Instagram and Facebook, or the new version of Facebook anymore? They're kind of the same thing, same post type, same whatever you can advertise. Like, so it's like, maybe it is going back to a place where it's like, if you're on Instagram, you're on Instagram. If you're on, I don't know, man.
Do you think it gets to the point where, all right, you get with certain types of news, the same thing with COVID happened, where you just get that fatigue.
Yeah.
You can't keep people. That's why you have to change the target, right? You have the bad white man, or you have this, or Trump, the orange man is bad. And then you have to direct people's rage so it's stimulating, so it's different. People get bored after a while. People get bored of the same app. People just get bored of the same app after a while.
Right.
It's the same old thing. And then it becomes, okay, so the quick and the short attention span is actually affecting the longevity of any of these platforms in its essence, because just logging into the same old just becomes, oh, you're still using Facebook? Like, who uses Facebook anymore? Who uses Snapchat? I mean, it was only like 2 or 3 years ago. It was the biggest app on the planet. I remember being in New York City and seeing a big, a massive, it was like probably an entire block, literally massive billboard in Times Square. And we're talking packed Times Square, just boom, huge, massive yellow, just I can't even tell you, with just the ghost in the center. That's it. Not even a name, Snapchat. Just the freaking emblem. And now who ever mentions that?
Nobody.
I don't even open the app. I don't even touch it. I don't even think about it.
And we thought there was going to be some cool things that were going to happen with, like, because they had all of the, like, when you could show up to a location and the geo filters and all that kind of stuff. It was pretty unique. And then we were like, imagine being able to walk down the street and see the deals that are happening in the pizza shop, and how much a haircut costs, and like whatever.
Maybe with the Apple glasses, or the Google Glass was ahead of their schedule. Apple glasses, they have those prototypes, which are definitely going to have the window, right? The cars have that already, but you're going to have that with glasses. Remember the Snap glasses, where you can record with the glasses? Remember they had pop-up shops where they were selling out immediately?
Shortly, or vaguely, I remember
the glasses were hideous. They were the ugliest fucking things, and you would tap it and it would automatically go, I don't know, I guess connect with your phone or do something and send it. You can just take a story with your eyes or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of hard to get a cool angle where you're like, hey, use your phone over here, and then you're like,
right.
But I remember they had that cult following. It was huge. Snapchat was such a massive rage.
Yeah.
It was just, everything was sold out. It was intense, and it fell so quickly. So, I mean, I guess the user fatigue from using a certain app and feeling kind of old, or feeling kind of boring, or feeling kind of stagnant because you're still using the same app.
Right.
The apps are almost forced to change, even if it's subtle little things, even if it's the type like YouTube did. YouTube's changed you probably noticed their icons got cut out.
Like a day ago. Yep.
Right. They're not solid. They're cut out, which it looks better. It looks clean.
Yep.
And YouTube, when they move the comments to get you more interested in watching another video rather than get stuck in the comments, right?
Yeah.
You have to expand the comments. You have to actually go actively to the comments, which in a lot of instances probably reduces the amount of trolling, because it's that one little extra step to go to the comments.
Right.
There's some cool stuff. I'm still wondering why YouTube stories never, like, it's garbage, trash, shit.
Yeah.
Why don't you create a decent feature? I mean, people post stories. I'll post in the community section on YouTube, and it gets it's like Instagram. And lately, since Instagram removed, people seeing how many people like their photos. I've been like, the likes went up dramatically. Pictures exploded on Instagram recently.
Oh, wow.
So analytics, all of a sudden doubled 2x or 3x all the likes on pictures. So for whatever reason, all of a sudden pictures started being pushed a lot more. And I think a lot of it is probably because of not being able to see who's liking the picture. You're actually authentically liking something that you like because no one's going to see it.
Right.
I don't know. It's so weird. It's so weird. I think it's healthier to hide that stuff, but you can still see it if it's your page. You just hit and you can see how many. But I did that one reel, like you said, to go back to what you're saying, how does reels work? I did one, and if you're uploading a TikTok, that's one thing, but to actually use reels natively, it was really, it was really bad.
Did you take it out? Oh no, so I did see this one with the bandana on. Today's your day.
I did 2 seconds and posted it, and it got like a ton of views at least. I'm like, yep, I knew it'd do well because it's a new feature.
Right.
I just don't instinctually go. I have no desire to go live on Instagram. I think for me, I have a little bit of that burnout, but I think it's also, I'm to that point where I have that ability to not have to, again, I don't want to disrespect attention. I don't want to focus, but there's no growth. There's fundamental interaction, but the DMs are just, it's really hard to organize. It's a fucking mess. Get tons of them. I can't respond to any of the comments. Little things like pinning comments on Instagram. I don't dislike Instagram. I just think, I'm at that point where I still have the mentality. I'm still shifting out of the mentality of I'm not able to answer every comment. I can't go into the comments and respond to everyone. I can't engage with everyone. So I've just shifted into what kind of content I want to do the most, which is why I want to do these all the time. I want to do the podcast. I want to do less things and just, because a lot of people only do a couple things. Like I'm just trying to, I think what I'm trying to say is it's been about 4 years, almost 5 years of me doing everything.
Right.
Everything. So I think part of this is my slow realization that, oh, you have the ability now to make some actual decisions. What do you want to use? You can do everything, but should you, and do you need to?
Right.
And do you want to? And now now also after 5 years of creating so much on every single platform, it takes a long time to know what you actually like doing. And to be able to know what you like enough to know how to project the future of what am I going to like doing? Like we're always going to like talking and having conversations. I'm always going to like to give my thoughts on certain things. I'm always going to like doing the podcast. I mean, those are the standards. So everything else is going to fluctuate and nuts on chin, drive while gaining, this, that, and the other. Make sure, for me, it's like, make sure Swolenormous X is great. I have all my members on a text, so I'm texting them. I don't need to be answering every fucking comment on Instagram randomly. I can just text the people that I care about, like that, or part of the community,
Yeah.
Because that target's changing so fast. And now with TikTok, there's a lull, man. I think that's kind of what has kicked off my little, changing and pivoting, because there isn't that kind of rush. Oh, I like posting like crazy, grow. It's more like, I feel like everything's kind of dead right now.
Yeah, it is a really weird lull.
Okay, cool. It's not just me, because it feels like, all right, that's not really popping. That's TikTok's under a lot of who knows.
Yep.
And it doesn't have a great reputation. So I don't know about the growth, because anyone that buys it, I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't even know who could be the best. Because if Microsoft buys it, say goodbye to TikTok.
Yeah, Jesus.
So it's going to go the way of Mixer and Skype real fast.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know who can buy it and pump it up. If someone buys it, I think it's forever tainted. I don't think it comes back from this. I think it becomes it's complete guesswork. But I think once you have this kind of terrible connotation, I think a lot of people have already written it off and aren't coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely from the social side, I would say I agree. I think the only thing that can save them is their partnerships that they're making. Because if you go back to like the transaction or the function of something, how do musicians produce their stuff? How do creators do their thing? How do film people do their stuff? How did like, where is all this stuff happening? And if you actually tap into that and make features based off of like already natural like industry behavior, I think that can help save them, because then you're at the end of the day, you may not always have. So it's just like anything else. Like the reason you almost said on a smaller scale, obviously, because none of us are as big as like TikTok or whatever. Right now, you get to choose what type of attention you want to acquire and post to and whatever. It's like TikTok, if they work, strong enough in regards to their affiliations, their partnerships, their native integrations, and all that kind of stuff or whatever, attention is just one of the things that they can offer. You know what I'm saying, to like people and whatnot. And whereas like so I think also what's happening is we're seeing social media and what we knew the first 10 to 15 years of social media to be change in general, like as a I don't even know what you would call it, because it's not like an industry or whatever. It's a space. Like I think the social media space is changing in regards to, it's not just social media platforms aren't coming out and being like, oh yeah, go post to fill in the blank anymore. It's no, now they're networks, because TV's officially starting to transition and die out. Like in the people who are running the behind the scenes of that, everything from the networks to the producers to the talent to the whatever, right? They're all starting to realize, oh, we can also get more attention on all that stuff. And that's been happening over the last, 12 to 24 months. So it's like now all the strong people who are actually good at, they used to call it POEM, paid, owned, and earned media, right? POEM. So it's like everybody who is like traditionally good at paid, owned, and earned media are now using these social platforms. So it's just like there's so much beauty to a space evolving. So whereas in 2016, you and I were like, oh, you should post on your big three, your Facebook, your Twitter. It's like, no. You should find a platform that complements the infrastructure of what you want to do for your brand, your creation process or whatever, and then fully dive into all of the features of that platform. And I'm not saying this is a global strategy or whatever, but I think if I had a like TikTok, I don't know if the social thing will be it for them. I mean, we saw it with Snapchat. Snapchat thought the social thing was going to be it for them. And then when they realized Instagram took the social aspect back from them, then they tried to go hard on the talent side, some of the other pieces and all that kind of stuff. And even the likes of Gary Vee or whatever were predicting what could save Snapchat. And he was saying, oh, they should go in on brand and they should go in on all that type of stuff and not necessarily the social thing, because that was what made the social platform in the first place. So I think that's kind of what we're seeing too, is social platforms have to behave different than what we knew social media to be previously. It's no longer so like social network is finally maturing into what social network actually is. Like it's a real network. It's not just you can make a post. That's so static. That's so,
people get to that point where they're burned out. I wonder if you're going to have this type of, I think what I was trying to say, and I kind of went down a different road, where you have that fatigue.
Yeah.
Right. Where people just get tired of hearing about COVID and then I'm going outside. Fuck it. They just get tired of it. People are going to do you think it's going to get to the point where people are just, I mean, I know they're outside in the streets for other reasons that they're not even aware of.
Right.
But do you think people are just going to be, fuck social media? Remember like they had that fuck Facebook or delete Facebook thing.
Right.
Because it might be this whole, or to the point where, I mean, it's all about making money. It's all about the marketing. It's all about the clicks. It's all about the eyes. So I wonder if things explode and keep exploding, but people are going to get tired of things exploding too.
Yep.
Or does it keep on going? Right. You just get more numb to the negativity.
Yeah.
I think part of what I look at for myself, like looking at internally and trying to make sure that I'm not out of my mind, or because things don't really affect me in the same way. They kind of do, but they don't. I just don't take it personally. Maybe because I know why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right.
and why there's a strategy why I don't, I don't connect my identity, but there's a lot of people that are young that can't handle social media. Just have two different types of people. People that work on themselves and people that are just getting dragged around by social. I just wonder if people are going to get fatigued with these apps, and
That's a great point.
like, I don't know what else is going to come next. I don't know if TikTok comes back. I don't know if it gets bought and then it gets renamed, because it's such a bad connotation. I don't know how you buy it and make sure that it's not spyware anymore. How do you really see what's going on? I mean, obviously you got the best programmers in the world probably going to be working on it, but you also have the best programmers in the world hacking computers and fucking hacking into, Tom Hanks's or whatever Twitter accounts and all that kind of stuff. I mean, a lot of people, bro, like the cities are dying. All these celebrities and people are moving out of LA and leaving the country. A lot of people are leaving the United States.
Yep.
And there's a lot of crazy shit. I don't know. I feel like now's more of the time than ever to really make sure that you're posting shit that you like posting. In other words, understand and look at it and say, hey, my shit, is your shit secure? And I think that's why my mind just keeps on going down to, okay, you know what? You don't have to be all up in Instagram's ass every day for your own sanity, because you got Swolenormous X. You use Facebook groups too, but members are inside X for a reason. Like we don't need this anymore. We're using this because it's fun. We're using this because we can engage, and these platforms are really made very, very well.
Right.
YouTube is a brilliant app. Instagram is a brilliant app. Facebook, like, they work amazing. I hate Facebook. It's fucking incredible. Yeah. It's incredible what these things do and what they allow you to do. They're amazing. I mean, they're just fantastic. So it's all about how you use it, but it's really important just for an individual, because what's going to happen now is everyone that is creating stuff, or they're popular, and you've seen this from YouTubers particularly, people burn out all the time. All those vloggers, remember all those big channels like YouTube 1.0 that blew up?
Yep.
And they were vlogging every day or doing pranks every day.
Yep.
And I know what it's like to make everyday content.
Yep.
And when you're doing pranks and stuff like that, those are the people that really struggle with content. Right. Because there's only so many things to do, just like these mukbangs and binge eating. There's only so many times you can eat a big bowl of pasta before it's like, bro, I've seen you eat before.
Yeah.
This is nothing. That's why you have to have these different areas of your existence, even if it's just for you.
Right.
Like, even if it's just for you, even if I have a channel where I talk about woodworking and I just react to someone carving wood. If I love that, it's like, at least I have a place where that's what I truly love. And then you have, sometimes those smaller channels are the realest ones. You have real people watching you, 1,000 people. Again, just like the live stream, to have 100 or 150 people watching live. I don't care. I don't need 10 million follow.
Yeah.
It's about the quality, not the quantity. And in a digital age, you really don't know. You don't know what the quality, you don't really know what those numbers mean. The TikTok numbers.
Yep.
Do I have 400,000 followers? I mean, I can't even imagine how many of those are just fucking make believe. How many of those are just bots, bro?
Exactly.
How many of those are someone who created a TikTok account, followed me, and then never opened the app again or deleted it?
Right.
How many? How many people on YouTube? I mean, are there 123 like real followers?
Right.
Well, if they are, most of them aren't watching my shit. They're not getting notified.
Right.
You know why? Because people are following way too many fucking things.
Yep.
So it's about getting that depth. It's about finding real people that love your content because it's your content, because they're not going to get notified. They better love your content, so they're looking for it.
Right.
And I have a group of people that are going to, no matter where I post, if something they're going to come and they're going to follow. They'll download a different app if they have to, and they'll follow my content. A lot of people wouldn't. A lot of people won't. A lot of people won't download a different app. But you have to make something. You have to make it so much you, bro.
Yeah.
It has to be you, because if it's anything else, here's where I was going with this. Fucking talking around. God, whenever we talk, my brain just fucking orgasms. It has to be maintainable. And most people can't maintain that for the long term. It's like me talking to a camera, talking to a phone, joking around, doing Arnold voices. Oh, that's the easy part.
Right.
Like for me, the content, and I've been fortunate. I don't know what the answer is to that, but content has been that's the easiest part. And atomizing content and breaking apart.
Yep.
I mean, I find it the easiest thing, which is usually the hardest for people. How do you do this? I'm like, oh, I post here and I split that this way and I export this, boom, 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 boom. I'll make one video. I'll do the same topic 13 different ways and it'll look like 13 different pieces of content.
Yep.
And people are getting so inundated. I mean, most people are focusing on the wrong shit, but if you focus on you and what you like doing, all the rest of it just comes from experience and from you loving doing what you're doing and talking the way you talk about the things you like to talk about.
Right.
And that's why my stuff is offensive. And that's why it's my humor, because man, if it doesn't make me laugh, I don't want to do it.
Right.
I love doing DWG. I don't care if they don't get a lot of views or it stunts my subscriber count. It fucking crack. I watch the edits and I crack up. I watch my own like few times and I laugh my ass off. It makes me laugh. I only post stuff that I think is funny. If I don't think it's funny, I don't post it.
Yeah.
Because that means it's not funny.
Right. That's beautiful.
Yeah, dude. It's like you listen to your own music.
Yes, sir.
Because one, you like it, and plus you listen to it and you do the same thing I do. I know. I go into Apple Podcasts and I listen to my podcast because I picture myself as someone who's, hey, he posted a new one, and I click it and I listen to it and I'm thinking, that was too dragged out. Oh, I should give some more value here. Or let me talk about this first because I'm not going to want to listen to that over and over again. Let me mix it up so it sounds different. Let me put this in the outro. Oh, I should play some music here. Or, oh, this would be cool. And, of course, whenever I'm filming, I also know that this is a podcast. So I'm always reading things. That's why I'm always reading comments. A lot of people forget that they're also listening. If you listen to someone looking at something on a screen, they don't know what you're doing.
Right.
So, there's so many things going on at the same time. And I don't know, it's vulnerability for creation. It's having the technology and having the stuff that makes it easy for you to create no matter where you are. And I think that's why even with all this equipment and all this stuff and all the upgrades, I make my videos in such a way where the path of least resistance, I can create content like that with the way I have my setup, which is why I could do so much. So it's more important that the content gets created. It's just if the soul and the intent is on point, the way it looks can develop over time. You give yourself, as long as you plant those seeds, you don't know exactly how they're going to grow.
Yeah.
But that's why with the Papa Swolio channel, it's like Red, White, and Swole is going there. Cool. We'll see what that channel is like in a few years. Like, I don't know what it's going to be like. Maybe it's like the NOC. Maybe it's straightforward to the camera, and that's the new thing. I don't know. And then what's going to happen on the on the PROCAST? Like, it's going to look like this. Yeah, it'll probably just look like this. What else is it going to look like? But it'll look like something. I don't know, man. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. Is it going to be what if a new app or a new streaming or a new thing, or like, hey, we decide to do these things on the screen, and I don't know. Then that happens, right? I mean, you look at the earlier daily Swole. Some of them are just freaking rough.
Yeah.
It's funny, like with the phone, and I used to draw with the Facebook drawing. I used to put the number on the screen. I'd be like, yo, what up, Beaches?
Oh, man, I do remember that up in the corner.
Bro,
I was back in the 200s because I remember you doing like 2, 3, 4. I remember it, like all that.
It's so fun. That's what we got. That's what we have to start doing in some upcoming PROCAST.
Do some throwbacks.
Look at some at least some images or some thumbnails and stuff, because you look at the wall and you say, oh, it's only partially done, there's no cards on the wall, or you're in the other room, or you're out here, and you can see the difference and the change, but you can see the skill get better. The skill for I love looking and seeing the camera quality. You can see how I got better. I'm watching other videos and go like, oh god, that lighting is garbage, bro. Like, your face is so overexposed, or you're out of your fucking mind. It's like, it's like close the lens a little bit, you fucking jabroni. It's ridiculous. There's so many times or the audio is so bad, or it's such a slow, sluggish. And I'm thinking, man, people watch this, people listen to this.
Right.
It's just cool how things develop. I think that's the fun part. And, you don't want to get into that entrepreneur trap where you're always starting shit, but you need to plant the seeds for growth. But whatever you do, you got to be ready for the long haul, because as much as this is a boom, as much as this is an explosion, bro, if whether TikTok's there tomorrow or Instagram, I'm not changing what I'm doing. Like the Daily Swole is going to be daily where it gets posted. That's why I got shit in every different place. I got it with audio or the video, and I'll post the video here. It's going to get done. The way it looks or where you're going to find it might
Right.
change.
Right.
Yeah, what if one of these companies gets bought up or they change the name or they delete it and hey, we're transferring over? Well, then that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's what happens based on your terms of service and stuff. So it's important to have, I like having my stuff in different places. I like having my own personal control. When it comes to podcasts, I have my podcast in 2 different places and
Yep. And the audio experience and yep.
Oh, well, that's through Anchor. That's
Yep.
through Anchor, and the other ones I have on Podbean, the other 2, and I have them separate. And I could combine them, but I don't want to. I want to have it there because that's through Spotify. I have my foot in the door there, and I have this.
Yep.
One thing goes down, I could stream here. I could stream with this. I'll use this streaming, or I'll use Restream, or I use this app, or if this one doesn't work, I'll use OBS. I always have backups on backups on backups.
Right.
So it's preparation. I realize that every time I get one thing that, I like this a lot, I'll buy another one, or I'll buy a backup, and I always have extra. And it's that redundancy, which is really just personal insurance to make sure that I'll have what I need to create when I need to create it, or I have an avenue to deliver the content no matter what. So if something doesn't work, or, oh man, this shuts down, I can't go live. It's like, cool. I pop in live in the group. I text everyone, hey, internet's down. I'm going live. On LTE, I'll go live on my cell phone. I'll go on the porch and I'll do a podcast on the porch. It'll be private for members. I don't give a shit.
Yep.
And it's weird. Like I was saying this before too. I'm less fancy with the audio and stuff too. I'm less fancy with the details. I'm less fancy with overproducing stuff. It's just more about me. It's more about the experience and the people, and combining that with my knowledge and with the technology. And that's why things just get better, because I get more comfortable. I know where I'm going. So it's more like, that's why we started doing this. And that's why all these other things are growing, because my mind has been more calm and I see the path. Oh, this is what I want to do. Dude, you have this, you have the foundation. You don't have to be Instagram and TikTok's bitch anymore. Like you're in a good spot to make some choices. So fucking make them now while the clay is soft.
Yep.
Because I don't like being a big lurching machine. I like keeping the team small and the vision big. Like the brand can be big, but I want it to be able to, I want it to be like, oh, I'm going to post this here. Why? Because I fucking feel like it. Oh, let's try doing this here for a couple of weeks. Cool. We try it this way. Okay, done. I love trying shit. I love just doing different things and seeing if it works. And I think it's also proving to myself that I know what I'm doing, and also that challenge, starting a new channel and
keeping the axe sharp.
The fucking PROCAST. Yeah, the Pro. Oh, yeah. Fucking fire, man.
Tell the people where you can get the glasses. No, I'm just playing.
Amazon. Where you get everything? Amazon. I'm thinking about getting another pair, but I'm like, damn. I don't know I don't know why they went up in price so much. Amazon link is in the bio down below. Anything more to add, bro? What else we got? Any good stories? I think we kind of.
Man, I think we hit it, and it was a good theme too. Like I like
jam for today.
Content. Yeah.
It was a good jam. That's always a jam. We start off with a quote or a concept or a thought, and we just bang it out.
I love it.
Yeah. All right, man. So,
alrighty,
let's fucking grunt it up. Good shit. Nice.
We ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped sitting high up on the throne. When my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped sitting high up on this throne. But my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah.